and welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the On The Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we're joined all the way at nearly midnight from Australia, Aaron Politis. Yay! Hey! How you doing, mate?
Well, that was a great intro. Yeah, I'm good. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm really good, mate. And also, everyone gets the same yay. They all get the same yay, whether you're a 10-time Mr. Olympia or a first time or an awesome 212 like yourself. Aaron, first of all, I can't believe I've never had you on before because you've been top 10 at the Olympia. You're prepped by a very, very good friend of mine, Patrick Tour. So thank you for joining us finally all the way from Australia, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's good to be on the show. I've watched your show for a while. So, yeah, I was pretty pleasantly surprised when you asked me to come on.
Yeah, well, I should have asked you before, in fairness, because you were 9th place at the Olympia last year.
Yeah, that was my first year of competing as a pro. It was last year, and I placed 9th. Yeah, just in front of Angel, who's killing it at the moment. Might I say?
I was just about to lead on to that because obviously that guy's winning. He's won 4 pro shows. He's won Romania last year and this year. He's won British Grand Prix. He's won what else? Spain. You know, so I mean, you took a really good scalp there at the Olympia last year by placing 9th, and he was 10th.
Yeah, man. Like I remember when we competed. He's a really nice guy. I wasn't sure whether I was in front or behind him. Like when I competed against him, I honestly thought he was really good. You know, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be ahead of him. I knew it would be neck and neck, but obviously I was pretty pumped to get one position on him, and then just to see his follow up the next 12 months. You know, if it was in my control, I would be competing as well, but I couldn't obviously leave the country. But it was good to see him have a crazy good year. I spoke to him briefly on Instagram a couple of times and wished him well, and just good to see him and Ole. You know, the other guy, I think it's from Ukraine or something. Ole
Krivyi. We just had him on last week.
Yeah, I spoke to both of them and just wished them well, and good to see him, you know, get some wins, I guess. I must admit it's frustrating for me being stuck here and not be able to be out there battling, but he's been doing really well, and he seems to just keep getting better and better. So
yeah. So hang on a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been following you for the last couple of years on Instagram. Was last year your first year as a pro?
No, it was my first year competing as a pro.
Okay.
So I won. I think I won my pro card the same time as James did. James Hollingshead.
Yep, 2017.
So yeah, 2017. Because James and we used to speak. It's funny because we used to speak when we were amateurs.
Yeah.
And we sort of made plans to turn pro. I remember speaking to him about turning pro. We turned pro the same year, and then we used to speak about Olympians and stuff then. And then the following year, I was trying to buy my second house, and I had a really big issue with it. Where it's a long story, but I bought the house, and the government hadn't approved the building, and I couldn't move in, so I had nowhere to live it dragged on for 6 months. So I had to move in with my mum and dad. Yeah, so I had to move in with my mum and dad's house, and all my stuff was put into a container, and it was just too full on. It was just one of those things where I started to prep for the Tampa Pro while I was at my mum and dad's house.
Yeah.
Under Patrick for the first prep that we ever done, I think. Yeah, first prep, yeah. And I just pulled a pin because my mum and dad were renovating, and it was like living on a construction site.
Yeah.
You know, I had a newly born son. It was just too much. So I actually had 2018 off competing, first year of my whole career ever, which is not what I wanted to do, but I had one of those things. It was just a bit of a bad luck run. So then March 2019 was my first show, New Zealand Pro, and I won that one. And then I did the Indy Pro 2 weeks after that and got second to Noel Adame.
Yeah. So where did you turn pro then?
So I won the Nationals in Australia 2017. So I won the overall.
Okay.
The year before I did it as well, but I got runner up in the overall. So I came back the following year and won it, and then had the following year off.
So who won the overall in that one then? Because I mean, you must have been pretty good.
Oh, the year before when I got B.
Yeah, who was that?
Sam Pearce.
Oh, Sam Pearce. Yeah, because obviously there's a bit of you got Jake Nipolopoulos, I can't say his last name, and then there's a really good sort of team of Australian bodybuilders coming up, and I've had Tony Doherty on, you know, and he's kind of, obviously he's been really spearheading since the IFBB split, you know, really trying to push the, you know, the pro scene in Australia, you know. So it's a kind of good team of Australian bodybuilders coming through now.
Yeah, the last 4 years, honestly, it really has. Because if you look back before that, like honestly, before Josh, there was just nothing for like literally 10 years. Like, I'm not going to say there was no good pros, but there was no pros in the Olympia. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like there was other pros around, but you know, there wasn't very many active pros, like pros that are doing heaps of shows, and not many pros at all from memory that were placing at all, or first call outs. And then Josh sort of, for me personally, Josh really like he really lifted the Australian bodybuilding. I feel that when he had that breakout that year, you know, he won. I think Josh won 3 pro shows in 1 year.
Yeah,
and that really just, I don't know, it just done something, I think, for Australian bodybuilding, because it made sort of everyone else sort of believe a bit more. And then because all of a sudden everyone started lifting their game a bit more, me personally as well. And then after Josh, you had Josh, then you had me, then Jake, and a few good pros coming, Nathan James Williamson, and a few good Australian pros, which the other boys haven't had too much time to compete yet. But I think in the next 2 years, you'll see all those guys I mentioned competing throughout the whole year, as long as Josh can get his injury sorted.
Yeah. So what is his injury at the moment? What is it?
He had a tumor.
The head. Yeah, of course, the head. Yeah.
It wasn't cancerous, but I just, from speaking to him, I think he still gets chronic headaches and stuff like that. You know, I haven't spoken to him in a few weeks, but spoke to him about a month ago, and he just gets chronic headaches when he tries to train and push hard. So hopefully he gets through that. And Josh and I had an injury as well to my AC joint. We were talking about the frustration of being sidelined. Do you know what I mean? So you just don't, 1 minute everything's fine, next minute you're sidelined with an injury, and then COVID happened, and it's frustrating, you know. But especially you're at the pinnacle of your career, like Josh's, that breakout year he had was pretty impressive, you know.
Yes.
And
I was there when he won. I was there when he won the 2017 Tampa. I was there, and I mean he was like he was like 270. I mean he was max. It was a good lineup. There was Regan Grimes. There was Nguyen. It was a really good lineup, and he completely steamrolled it. You know, he needed a little bit crisper from the back, but I mean he was just so big and freaky that year. You know, 2017 Tampa, incredible. Go check out the pictures.
Yeah, and I feel like, not to say the same thing again, but when you have a country that's not, that this applies everywhere in the world, I feel, when you have a country that's not always on the Olympia stage or doesn't always be successful, when one guy goes and does it, like all of a sudden it sort of hypes everyone up, and then it creates, you know what I mean? It starts to happen more often. So that Tampa look that he brought was one of my favorites, but I'm sure he'll get back. Just needs a bit more time to rest, I think. Yeah.
So where are you based in Australia? Who are you close to in the Australian scene, and where are you based?
So I'm up the top right-hand corner of Australia in Queensland. So that's the sunny state of Australia. It's like hot all the time. It's like Miami, you know. I don't know if you follow. You would have seen Sergio. Sergio come and stay with me for a while. Yeah. Did you see when that happened? Yeah. So he was in Melbourne, where I was born in Melbourne, with Tony. Then COVID happened, and he escaped and come up to Queensland because we didn't get hit with the COVID too bad. Okay. You know, so the rules weren't as bad. And so when Sergio came, when he first landed, they shut the gyms. He had nowhere to train, and he actually messaged Josh, and he's like, because I wasn't friends with Sergio. And he messaged Josh, and he's like, do you know anyone in Queensland? And you got, there's 3 pros. There's 3 pros, me, Logan Robson, and Sam Pearce. And he goes, yeah, just message Aaron. So, and I had nothing at my house, and I went to the shops and started buying gym equipment. Yeah. And then he trained a couple of times at mine. Then about 2 weeks later, me and my mate bought out a whole gym. Wow. Like, we bought a whole gym out. It was like we got 4 trucks delivered to this place and got like 30 pieces of equipment. Yeah. I put like 12 pieces of equipment in my garage. I moved everything out, Mrs. car, everything out of the garage. And I put 12 pieces I put like cable stacks, leg press, hack squat. Yeah. I put a fair bit of good stuff. And my other mate went on for 2 or 3 months, and he ended up putting like about 35 pieces of equipment in his house. Okay. Did you buy anything off? Did you buy anything off Jake? Jake?
Did you buy? Yeah, because he I can't Nicolopolis. I always make a hash of it. So yeah, because he's obviously he makes gym equipment now, doesn't he? He's been making. I've seen he's been making dumbbells and power racks and benches and all sorts. Have you bought anything off him?
But he took a while, Jay. I'd already got everything. Like, I didn't muck around because I was actually during COVID. Even though I had the shoulder injury, I was actually in prep for the New York Pro.
Okay.
So me and Patrick were prepping for New York. I paid for the flights, booked it all.
Oh, shit.
That's so frustrating. I lost the money too.
Oh,
and
no, it's expensive.
I had New York booked, and then I was going straight to Indy Pro after that.
Yeah.
And I was so excited because I just felt, I was training with Sergio. Like, I was looking
top 10 at the Olympia. Top 10 at the Olympia. Yeah.
Yeah. And
riding high.
Top 10. Yeah, top 10 last year, and I was like, everything was. My shoulder was annoying me, but I was just going to put up with it, And I'd never been that lean. It's cliche to say it, but I was the prep that at New York I just pulled out of. It was the easiest prep ever because Olympia, I did 20 weeks, no cheat meals at all, 20 weeks straight. Patrick would not give me.
No, Patrick would not give you a single cheat meal in 20 weeks.
Oh mate, I asked for a
what a bastard.
I asked for a coffee. What did I ask for? I asked for something. I think I asked for a coffee, like a coffee with milk in it.
Yeah.
I said, can I have a coffee? And he messaged me like some swear words. And he's like, until your effing ears are striated, no, you can't have a coffee with milk. And I was like, so I wanted to prove a point that I could diet hard. So the Olympia prep was the most hardest prep I've done in my life, no doubt. It was next level. And when we landed in Vegas, I got off the plane and I was ready to go 3 weeks out, to be honest. And I landed in Vegas and I met Patrick for the first time in real life because I spoke to him for a year and a half, but only on the phone. I never met him.
Yeah.
And then he seen me, and as soon as he seen me, he knew I was ready. And it was like still 9 days out, and he just goes, "Go have sushi," and I almost cried. Like, I'm not joking. I was emotional about it. Like I ate the food. I went to rang my missus. I'm like, we're in Vegas. Let's go to the best sushi place in the whole Vegas.
Yeah, there's plenty of them.
Went to Yellowfin, and it was like $300 for like. It was the most expensive meal of my life, and I was starving after. It wasn't even a lot of food. Really? And then I went to a little cheap sushi train place after that. But I remember feeling so emotional because 20 weeks no cheat, you lose your mind,
Yeah. So what was it like your first Olympia then in your first year as a pro?
Yeah, so it's funny. Like throughout my amateur career, I've been blessed to have pretty blessed to be friends with like guys like Sean Roden, and when I went to LA when I was an amateur, Dexter and Sean both helped me. I was friends with Sean when he came to Australia, and he was always mentoring me, and he always told me when I was an amateur, "You're Olympia, you can make the Olympia." Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was pretty epic for someone like Sean he was like, "Bro, you're Olympia quality," and I never believed it. I never believed it. To be honest, I didn't believe it until I won the New Zealand, the first pro show, and then I started to think, well, I'd made the Olympia already, I guess, but I started to have a bit more belief, So it was a cool feeling, obviously, to envision something as an amateur. I was playing, when I was an amateur for 2 years straight, I would play, there's this Olympia song, and it's like a Transformers song. It's a common Olympia song they play at the Olympia. Yeah. And I would play it in my headphones in my prep, when I was an amateur for like 2.5 years straight. Envisioning that one day I'd be at Olympia, and by the time I envisioned it for 2.5 years. I just flogged this song out in my head. Yeah, and it was like the song that they play in the background when like the commentators like Sean Ray are talking, and you'll know when you hear it. Okay, and and it's just a song that I played for years, and it was an amazing feeling. Obviously, when I won New Zealand Pro, I swear I didn't sleep for 3 days after that. I was just could not believe. Yeah, I just couldn't believe it, especially from being Australian, because Australians just never make the Olympia. Yeah. So it's only me and Josh since Lee Priest.
Yeah, yeah. So what's your height and stage weight?
I'm exactly the same height as Lee Priest. So we've been back to back. Lee and I trained once, and I'm exactly the same height as him, 5'4".
Okay. Is Lee 5'4"? I thought Lee was shorter than that.
Nah, he's 5'4". Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 5'4", and we went back to back, and like our heads were like exactly the same height.
Yeah, yeah.
So, So, and my stage weight of the Olympia was 91 kilos, which is about about 204 pounds or something.
Well, 91 kilos, that's about 200, 201. That's so you've still got.
201. Okay. I weighed in at 205 pounds.
Okay.
But that was 2 days out from the Olympia, wasn't it? The weigh-in was 2 days out.
Do you? Because I know I spoke to Derek Lunsford, and I mean, he was one after he weighed in, his weight actually dropped, and then you got guys like other guys that kind of like by the time they reach the stage, they're a good 3. I mean, George Peterson said he puts about 8 pounds on before he actually hits the stage. So does your weight go up or down after you've weighed in?
Well, it's funny you say that because it went down. I think it went down, but I think I should have made it go up. So yeah. I think it went down because my metabolism was very fast, and we possibly could have filled up. Maybe we could have. It's hard to say. Like, could have been a little bit fuller because when I woke up in the morning, I definitely lost weight by the show. Yeah. When I woke up in the morning, it was the best look that I ever had. When I woke up at 5 a.m., it was the best I ever looked in my life.
Yeah.
But I felt like during the day, as the day went on, I faded a little bit, and I just ended up a little bit light. So I could have carved up a little bit more aggressively, you know?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it only really matters what you weigh in at. As long as the weigh-ins are the same sort of distance apart, if you're weighing at 205, it doesn't really matter what you are on stage. It doesn't matter if you filled out to 215. You know, it's you're making weight quite comfortably by 7 pounds there. So you've still got a little, and you're 5'4", because really, 5'6" and under, really, that is, if you want to be a good, thick-looking 212, that's the kind of height. You can't be really taller than 5'6". Otherwise, you're going to look small next to some of the other guys, the shorter guys like Angel Calderons and these other guys, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Like, you can even see someone like Zane Watson, the one. I think he's only 5'7", and he looks like so tall. He's
told me he's 5'8", the same as George Peterson. George Peterson's 5'7", 5'8", and I think 5'7", 5'8". I mean, I'm amazed how George Peterson looks as big as he does, being like 5'8". I mean, he's comfortably under 212. So I think he has helium bones or something. But
I think George pulls it. I think George pulls it off because he's just got. Like he might have that hollow bone thing, but he's got a tiny waist and his back is so big. So
yeah,
he just somehow he's a bit of a freaky proportions, George. You know, it's amazing that he looks the way he does, and he's that height, like you say, 5'7" to 5'8". Definitely 5'8". It's a bit too tall for 212. But if George is 5'8", then he somehow is an anomaly.
Anomaly, I was going to say it. Yeah.
Can't say the word. Tongue twisted. But I agree with you. Like, I think, you know, between 5'4" and 5'6" is the best height for the 212. So
perfect, because you've got guys like 5'2", 5'3", and they're kind of almost too short. You know, Calderon. What is he, like 5'3", 5'3"? He's shorter than you, isn't he? Because
I think he's a little bit shorter than me.
He has to be.
Same with Ashkenani. I think Ashkenani's a little bit. I feel like he's a little bit shorter than me too.
Yeah,
you know,
about 5'2", 5'3" have to be.
Then you got Sean Clarida, who's like 3 inches shorter than everyone.
3'6".
Yeah, like
he's way under the weight limit.
Yeah, he doesn't. You know, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like as much as I've still got dead set. I could put another 10 pounds on and still make the weight. So it's a lot of weight for me to still put on. I don't put massive amounts of weight on every year like some of these guys do. You know, I sort of slowly bring it up each year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't never have any years where I put, like I seen George put a massive amount. How much did George put on since he was Classic?
Well, he was, 190? I think he weighed in. It had to be 191 or 192 to weigh in for the Classic. But he said he
just made Tampa weight.
But he said he was 198 by the time he was on stage as a Classic. Now he's kind of struggling to make 212. So he's putting on a good, I mean, weighing in at 191, on stage 198, do the math, you know?
Yeah, so he's put 14 pounds on in one season.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Some of these guys,
and his condition is crazy. So let's talk about the 212 Olympia. Obviously, you're not in it this year because obviously COVID and you couldn't compete, couldn't travel. There's some people that think George Peterson can win this year. What's your feelings on that?
I speak to my mate Logan, who's another pro on the Gold Coast, about this. It's just such a hard one when you're not there and you can't. It's one of those things, you know, some bodybuilders that you see them online but then you speak to people and they're like, "Oh, wait till you see them in person." It's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So obviously I can't judge because I'm not there in person, but to me, it's an unbelievable. don't want to offend anyone. It's an unbelievable physique what he's got. The back is like one of the best backs, but it still doesn't scream 212 to me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I just feel like
I know what you mean.
If Derek, like someone like Derek, comes along and he's peeled,
yeah,
he would blow. I feel like he'd blow him out of the water.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even like the upper bodies of like Ashkenani and Dave Henry, like that's crazy 212 density type that I think is that 212 sort of monster sort of look.
Yeah.
But it's like George is like a hybrid 212 classic. It's like an in between. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. No, I almost think he's destined for open. One day.
Yeah, there's something about it that's just, I don't know, but I guess it's how the judges want to see it. I guess they'll pick they'll have their preferences and everything. But I guarantee if anybody's off, like even how Derek was a little bit off, and George will take some spots because he's got that grainy. He's not going to have distended waist. He's got the nice shape. He'll be grainy. He's not going to really be missing too many body parts. So.
To be honest, Aaron, I mean, for me, the last 2 years at Olympia, for me, George Peterson probably had the best conditioning in the entire Olympia.
Yeah, so there you go. If he comes and has the best conditioning,
yeah,
by just by that alone and the structure he's already got, and doesn't really have any weak points as much. He's going to be pretty high, placed really high, whether it looks 212 or not. You know, so it's such a diverse. 212 at the moment is such a stacked, diverse. Like if you compare like Kamal to George to Derek, they're all completely different physiques. It's like it's not even. I guess it comes down to preference, but I just feel like guys that come in condition like George and Kamal, I feel like they're 100. You can count 100% Kamal and George are going to be shredded.
Yeah.
You know, there's just certain guys that just every single time they're pretty much on the money.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you feel...
And when George is off, they say he's slightly off. He's not really. He's like a couple percent.
He's off for him, which is still probably the hardest up there.
I seen some comments that show he won at Tampa, and the people were like, "Oh, he's off." And I'm like, "Wow!" I was like, "Man, what's he off? 2%?" Like,
yeah, but Aaron, I told him, I said, you were off for you. You were still probably the best conditioned guy up there, but for you, based upon who I could comparing to how you looked last at the Olympia, you were definitely not as sharp. So for me, comparing you to you were off, but on stage compared to everybody else, you were not off.
And I can see what you're saying. Do you think it was? I felt like that. What you're talking about was in the lower back and the glutes. Yes. A little bit waterier.
Yeah. Normally he's bone dry. He's bone dry normally.
And that's my point. So him being off is still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You know, where some guys where they come in off and it's not pretty.
Yeah.
You know, I'll give you a perfect example. Not to pick on someone, but Noel Adame.
Yep.
When he beat me at Indy Pro, and it was I think as Patrick said, it was a 1 point. It was a split decision win, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he went to the Olympia, I placed 9th and he was 17th, I think.
Right.
And if you look at his New York showing, the condition is like way different to each show. Like drastically heavier one show, peeled one other one.
Yeah.
It's like they either get it or they miss it by a mile.
In the Olympia last year, do you think Dave Henry, because he was 11th last year, you beat Dave Henry, do you think he got a bit of a raw deal at the Olympia last year? Because I was surprised not to see him in the top 10.
Imagine the feeling of being a bodybuilding fan and then beating Dave Henry. That was a bit of a surreal thing. Like, I was walking around backstage, to be fully honest, and I was like fanboying him. I was like, fucking holy shit, it's Dave Henry, like, and he didn't look very talkative. He looked pretty sort of angry, you know. And I was like,
he always looks angry.
I just let him be. And Patrick was like, stop fucking fanboying. You're he's like, you're in. I don't know if I can swear on here, but he's like, you're in the Olympia. Stop being a fanboy. You know what I mean? He's like, you're a competitor. But I think your first Olympia, you can't help it.
Yeah.
You know, because all of a sudden you're backstage and you're with everyone and you're. Yeah. But Dave Henry has I think. A Mr. Olympia upper body. It's Mr. Olympia upper body.
Well, he was. He won in 2008, didn't he? He won in 2008.
Yeah, he's even up till now, it's just freaky upper body. But he's just so top heavy now. I think the symmetry's thrown out. And they're obviously being harsh on him because he was shredded. He was definitely shredded. You know, like he always is, grainy, full. but the legs just don't match the upper body, and they're obviously being harsh on him with it. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Do you
what do you think?
Yeah, no, I was surprised. I mean, he looked tight. Again, he was off for him a little bit, but he still looked great. But I mean, he looked great at the night show, but obviously the judging had been decided by then. But I thought 11th, bloody hell, that was harsh, you know. But do you think Kamal can repeat his win this year?
I'll tell you how I thought. I thought Derek would come back and win this year.
Okay.
But I speak to Flex Lewis a fair bit.
Yeah.
Flex has been a pretty good mentor for me the last 12 months, massively. I speak to him quite often, and I can't spill the beans too much. But I guess he posted that photo the other day. Flex has shown me a couple of photos, and
he sends them to me, Aaron. He sends them to me as well, and he says, "Please don't show this to anyone." And I saw that picture of Kamal 11 weeks out, and it blew my socks off, mate.
And he just showed me a few things of how hard Kamal's dieting.
Yeah,
like he's dieting very hard, really hard. And when I seen the photo of Kamal, I was just like, "Holy shit!" Like this is, to be honest, like when he won it last year, it wasn't a holy shit thing to me. Like he's just unbelievable condition, and he looked classy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like freaky to me.
Do you know what it was for me? It was when it was his midsection. It just drew the eye. The intercostals were so tight. It's like your eyes are drawn to his physique because it just, I don't know, it's just, because I mean, I've been friends with Kamal 20 years now, and it obviously, I mean, I wanted to interview him at the Arnold Classic, and they said, "Who is he? Why are you interviewing this guy?" And I said, "No, seriously, this guy's really good. He could win." That was the Arnold Classic 2 years ago that he won. You know, so the phone's gone. Okay, so I feel like even now, even as the champion, Kamal does not get the respect he deserves as. You know, like when people are not even considering him as a repeat winner this year, and I think it's crazy. The guy's won the Arnold Classic, he's won the Olympia, you know, and he's constantly bringing that. He's never been off.
I think it's. I was sort of, to be honest, I was a little bit like that when I seen him win. I was a bit surprised because the condition was unbelievable, and then when I went and watched it back, like you say, he's just classy. He comes out, the mid session was just so tight, and his condition was just amazing.
Yeah,
Derek could have won that show if he was within 10% of Kamal's condition.
Yeah, I was amazed at what Derek did for the night show. The night show and the judging, I'll be honest. I mean, I said, look, there's nothing popping in his upper body. He's hitting most musculars and there's just no detail. And then he came back like 4 or 5 hours later at the night show and he looked really good. I'm thinking, God, if he looked like that at judging, it might have been a different story.
But you know another thing no one takes into account is the night show has better lighting.
Yeah.
Like, because remember, I think it's a little bit deceiving that we compete on the expo stage, which doesn't happen every year. It's like it's different all the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's different. Some year you do a 2-day show, 1-day show. This particular year, last year, it was the expo stage, which we all did in the morning, and then the top 10 only went to the night show, and maybe he definitely obviously changed the diet, but like he was eating apple pies backstage and prejudging.
Derek.
Derek, we were just about to walk out on stage. We're literally, I'm not kidding you when I say this. We're 30 seconds from walking out on the stage, and he's smashing this apple pie down like a
Was he? Eat apple pie.
This is a true story, and I was like for me, I'm a coach. Like it's a bit of a no. You don't eat the last minute. You don't eat the last 30 minutes, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And he smashed it down. He was chewing it, and I'm behind him in the line. So we're lining up. They had all their names in a row.
Yeah.
And like the first 3 guys would walk out. There was like 2 more guys to go, him and then me. And then he turns around with about 20 seconds to go, looks at me, and he goes, "Bro, do I have any food in my teeth?" And then I was like, "Nah." "Nah, you don't." And then he went out and did his. He was literally chewing it, but when he walked out.
Okay.
So. I don't know, I don't believe his coach's approach is exactly right, but I'm not going to start saying I know what they're doing wrong. But
well, I heard Kamal was eating like chicken and cold sweet potato in the corner of the room. That's what I heard.
I think Kamal diets the old school hardcore whole food, just hardcore dieting, and that's why he looks so grainy. And where Derek, he had burgers in his peak week, I believe. Mm-hmm. In the peak week, he was eating burgers. And then he's eating apple pies, smashing apple pies backstage. So it's a little bit...
Yeah, personally, I mean, I've competed, but personally, I always got good condition. And personally, that is... I think my last cheat meal would have been, say, 2 or 3 weeks out, and then it would have been something like a Japanese meal, or it would have been a Nando's, and we have this Portuguese chicken place. It would have been a clean. That would have been it. I certainly wouldn't have been eating. Well, actually, on the day of the show, I have eaten a lot of cakes and stuff, so that's lies. So yeah, so
Yeah,
but I think it's a big gamble, isn't it? It's a big gamble. It can go horribly wrong.
100%.
Sorry, lost you there, mate. Say that again, please.
Yeah, it's definitely a gamble. I think if you haven't nailed condition yet, I think doing that stuff's because let's be honest, you only ever do this for crazy fullness. You only ever do pizzas or burgers or because you just to give you that crazy fullness.
Yeah,
I don't think Derek needs that fullness. He's already full and big, and I want to see the Derek on hardcore dieting, just whole food, and if you're gonna have a cheat, sushi, which is what Flex does.
Yeah,
he'll have sushi as a cheat meal. You won't see him doing burgers.
I'm not saying Derek does this, but with other bodybuilders, I think a lot of them with the junk loading because they're carbing up on insulin. I think that's why. Yeah. I think that's why a lot of them do it. I'm not saying Derek does it. I don't have no knowledge of what he does, in his final. But a lot of guys, they will eat junk food and then just carb up with insulin, which I think again you're risking hypos on stage. You're risking, you're already dehydrated. I think it's very hit and miss. For like I said, old school, they never did that and they always look great.
Yeah, I've never tried an insulin load before a show. Patrick's not really big on insulin whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't think we even used it in the Olympia prep from memory. Patrick's not a big fan of it. So, once again, like you say, my biggest fear would be: can you imagine going hypo on the stage?
Oh my god! Well, I'm diabetic. I'm diabetic, Aaron, and if I have a hypo, that's it. I'm a mess. If I was on stage, I'd just be, dehydrated as well. It would be you'd just be in a daze. You wouldn't be able to focus.
Yeah, that would be a worst nightmare. But yeah, as I said, I think Kamal just brings that class and graininess, and he's been doing it a long time. There's no doubt you can pencil him in as peeled.
Yeah. And
it's up to Derek. I feel Derek, it's in his hands. He can win at the Olympia if he can come in, but you never know. He might be one of those guys like Big Ramy that just never nails it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thing is, like Derek, already looks, 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out, he looks really good. His glutes are ripped, the legs are separated, they're dry, and it's like if he can just maintain that and bring that, like you said, because when he comes on stage, he's so wide. He's it reminds me of like a shorter Jay Cutler, where he was so wide and dense. Your eyes are drawn to him because he's got his shoulders are so wide. And he's got that huge back and his legs are now a lot bigger. His calves are up. I think this year his physique is more balanced than it's ever been. So if he nails that condition, I do think Kamal's in trouble. So
maybe Derek needs to which a lot of guys do this. I think James and Patrick did this for his last show.
Yeah.
Where you just coast into the show and don't manipulate anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't do no crazy carb up. Just keep it steady, keep sodium, keep water, keep everything the same. No diuretics, no insulin. Just coast into the show and get ready early, and then because, like you say, Derek looks good 2 weeks out. He looks good a week and a half out.
So
maybe he needs to do that.
Let's talk about Sean Clarida. The guy's been 15th, 9th, 7th, 3rd. There's a guy he wasn't even placed in 2015, but every single year that guy has climbed. Do you think he could win it this year?
I'll tell you one thing about Sean. It's like, when you say that, it sounds like Ronnie Coleman's career, doesn't it?
It does. He's like, he's like a 212 Ronnie Coleman.
Sure, I'll give props to Sean. I've never really spoken. I've said hello, and I've never had a real big conversation with Sean.
He's a great guy.
But I don't speak to him personally or anything like that. But it's inspirational what he's done, because I was one of those people where I was like, he's not going to be successful as a pro. He's too little. And then he just got better and better and better. And to be honest, my personal opinion, believe it or not, when I was at the Olympia last year and we all competed against each other and we were backstage, I thought Sean was going to win.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that before we went to the show, but I was backstage texting after the show. I said to my best mate Logan, I was like, man, Sean's freaky.
Yeah.
I just thought, because he was like the perfect blend of Kamal and Derek, and in between.
Yeah.
Where Kamal doesn't have the crazy muscle that crazy muscle that Sean actually does have, because he's so little. It's very freaky on a small frame. It's very freaky to see it close up. Sean was bursting with fullness, and he was shredded, and he had veins everywhere. It was like a Branch Warren-y type.
Yeah.
Grain.
Well, I was sat next to George Farah and Dennis James, and I said, "Who you got, guys?" It was just in the prejudging. Dennis James, George Farah says, "Well, I've got Kamal winning," and then Dennis James says, well, "I've got Clarida winning."
Yeah, so I had Sean winning.
Oh wow, okay.
I had a couple of things wrong. I had Hadi winning the Opens.
A lot of people did, though, mate. A lot of people did.
Because I was there, but I was backstage in the top 10. I was back, and Hadi was one of the freakiest things I've ever seen. Like, it was cool to see the hype. Not to change the subject, but it was cool to see Hadi had a lot of hype.
Yeah.
And I was like, just remember, he's a 212 guy, and I was like, I want to see how good this guy can be, And then I was like...
And he wasn't even as good as he was at the Vancouver. So could you imagine if he'd have brought the Vancouver, he probably would have won.
Oh, we got tan next to each other. So we're both standing in the booth, practically naked next to each other.
Yeah, And, with your sock on.
I just couldn't believe... I was just like, wow, like... Yeah. When he come out in the Olympia, I'm like, he's going to win this. Like, I thought he was going to beat Brandon. And then not did he not get second, but he got third. But I had him first. So
yeah, it was close between him. It was that top three was very close. I mean, I remember I was going out to get a drink, and there was a queue just before the night show happened or whatever, just the finals, or whatever. We all popped out, and I just kind of went along the line, and I said, "Guys, who you got?" And there was people saying Brandon. Some people said Hadi. Some people said William. It was like really like it was a real sort of mixed bag of opinions of who would win.
Yeah, but to go back to the first subject. To finish on Sean, and I think Sean's definitely got better this prep. I think out of all three of them, I think Sean and Kamal have improved the most.
Really?
So all Derek has to do is now condition. Derek looks similar to I feel like he did last time.
Yeah.
But his condition looks a little bit better.
Derek's legs have come up, mate, this year. His legs have really balanced. His legs are wider from the front. He's got more calves, because a couple of years ago his calves weren't good, but they are now.
Just remember though, sometimes the guys with the legs, they look fuller in prep.
Yeah.
And then when they get to the stage, they fade again. So I guess we'll see. But Sean's definitely got it better. So like you say, it could be a repeat of last year where Sean could steal it. It could be them top three. It sounds boring to be like this, but I think. And it could go any way, but if I had to bet on any three of them at the moment, after speaking of flex and everything, I'd have to just pick Kamal again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he wants to go for 3. He said he wants 3 wins.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah.
So what's the game plan then next for you and Patrick? What's the goal? Obviously with COVID, because I mean it's hit Australia really badly with the restrictions. I've heard people aren't allowed to leave their houses, and I think it's not so much the cases, but the restrictions to make sure they get on top of it. What's the plan for you now for 2021?
Well, Victoria's really bad. So luckily I live up the top, which is Queensland. So to be honest, it's normal life up here. We aren't too bad. But in saying that, we can't travel anywhere.
Yeah. So they really jumped on it, haven't they?
Yeah, so my life up here is completely normal. There's where I live on the Gold Coast, there's no restrictions anywhere. The gym's only shut down for couple of weeks, which I bought my own gym anyway.
Yeah, but you're good.
But yeah, as I said, I put an end to my New York prep. I do have a bit of an attachment with. I want to go back to the Indy Pro and win that show, because I was second
by 1 point.
I lost by 1 point. It was very heartbreaking, to be honest, which I haven't really spoke about that loss, because I thought I'd won it because I won prejudging apparently. Okay. And I was in the middle of all the call outs, and then I got interviewed there, and everyone said I was winning, and then I came back and it was like I was sort of counting my chickens. I was like, I think I'm going to win this. I'm going to get 2 out of 2.
Oh,
which
no.
I was like, I'm going to go to the Olympia undefeated. I'm not sure if any Australians ever done that.
Yes, a good point.
And then I came out, and Patrick's like, be prepared if you could get second. And I was like, okay. And then we went out for the finals, and I was in the middle again. And then the last call out, and moved me to the left and put Noel in the middle. And I got my vengeance at the Olympia. I beat him back at the Olympia, but I just saw I want to get an American win. Let me be more precise. I want a bit of American win, and I really liked Indianapolis. I liked Dave Bowers put the show on. Indy Pro was a good show. I like the area, so I want to go back and I'd like to go back and win the Indy Pro and then do it in New York. So that's my goals at the moment. So
are you not? Is there 212 at the Arnold Australia next year?
Nah, Tony doesn't have it.
Yeah.
I wish he would. You should have a word to him.
I'm gonna have a word with him. I'm gonna text him.
I wish. I think one day. I feel like this might sound funny, but I feel like if I get to a certain level in a 212, that he'll feel like he really wants to put it on. But at the moment, they've cut it. But that's a subject that someone needs to bring up. I've had a few people speaking about that lately. Why the 212 is not at any Arnold, Columbus or Australia, because if you look at the division right now, like we've been speaking about, it's such a stacked, exciting division with all the new classic guys, with George and Keown coming in. It's such an exciting division. It's amazing that they've cut it from the Arnold.
I mean, you've got Mo Al-Masawi, the New Zealand promoter that puts on. I mean, New Zealand's just like a short flight for you, isn't it?
Yeah, as I said, I won the New Zealand. Mo was a massive help to me after I won that.
Yeah.
Mo he rang me after a week later, and he mentored me a fair bit, and he gave me some pretty positive feedback. He rang me and he was like, to be honest, he goes, you're impressive, but he goes, I wasn't overly hyped on you. Yeah. That's what he said. And he goes, then when you landed in New Zealand, he goes, I seen you weigh in I only weighed in at 90 kilos.
Yeah.
He goes, I couldn't believe that you weighed in on that. And then when I seen you walked out on the stage, he goes, you're one of those physiques where as soon as you walk out of the stage, your eyes are drawn to you. And he said to me, as soon as you did a front relax, that I won the show. So, he gave me some good feedback. Mo was like really inspiring. Like he was like, mate, you could go all the way. I could see you being top 3 in the Olympia one day. And he made me feel really good,
Yeah.
And, it was just helpful, and he gave me some tips for the Olympia. Mo's done a lot in his career as well. So,
yeah, he was. He was top 10 in the Open Olympia. He was incredible pro.
Yeah,
incredible pro.
He just sort of said, "Ring me anytime you want. I'm here for you. I'll help you out." And he goes to the Olympia as well and judges the Olympia. So
yeah.
Mo was a good help and good mentor in my corner, I guess, as well.
Okay, then Aaron, anyone you want to thank, mate? Any sponsors?
Yeah, I've got Food for Fitness is my which I just finished a meal to stand is my meal sponsor, and my major sub sponsor is Massive Joe's. Who supply, Massive Joe's. Yeah. So Jake's on the Massive Joe's team too. They supply all my supplements, and they've just been one of the best signings I've ever had. The most professional company, and nothing's the issue. And Massive Joe's is like the team to be on in Australia at the moment, And World Gym, and Crown Aesthetic Clinic, and that's it. So, yeah.
So, also, is there going to be an Arnold Australia next year? Because I know Tony's really struggled this year because obviously the cancellation lost a ton of money. Have you heard anything about Arnold Australia? Any news?
Oh yeah, it was heartbreaking to watch Tony. I've heard about how it went down, and he obviously invested all the money into it. I don't think he got the money back. It was just heartbreaking to see how it all broke down, And he said the Arnold's is going ahead in March, but there will definitely be a show, but I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be a pro show. You know what I mean?
Right, because I know that I put a post up because I'm not going to be able to get to the Olympia this year, and I said, "Don't worry, guys." I said, "Well, I'll see you at the Arnold in March," and then a few people said, "No, I think it's been put back to June." The Arnold America has been put back to June, and obviously the Arnold Australia is usually held a week to 2 weeks after the Arnold America.
Yeah, well, it's usually March 14, second week of March. So
yeah.
I haven't spoke to Tony or anything about it, and obviously there's no 212 at the moment, so it's not something that I'm overly focused on. I've actually got an Arnold shirt on at the moment, a classic shirt on.
Yeah.
But I love the Arnold. I compete. I have athletes in the Arnold, amateurs, and I coach in it. But another little goal that I will be before I retire, which is not going to be a long time away, is I will do the Open Arnold Melbourne eventually.
Wow. Okay. Do the Open as a 212.
If Tony invites me, when I get to a certain level, just for the fact that I want to compete. I was born in Melbourne.
Do it.
And it'd be awesome to be in that show and be a home crowd, athlete. So it's been a bit of a goal before I retire. I feel I'll eventually be around the 212 weight anyway, but whether I'm 212 or not. Guy Sistinino did it.
Yeah, I like it. To be honest, mate, I like it. I mean, I remember Flex Lewis did it in 2011 at the Arnold Europe, and he did it at the Mr. Europe, the Spain show. I've seen at the start because originally when the 212 came, to 202 came along, bodybuilders you could go and do the open and the 212 at the same contest. You could do both categories.
Oh,
then
really?
Yeah. Dave Henry would go and do Flex Lewis. Flex Lewis' first show, he came 7th in the open, and he got 2nd at the 2009 Tampa. I think it's 2007 Tampa it was. No, 2009 Tampa. He got 2nd in the... was it 2nd? No, I think he won. But he went and did the open as well and got 7th. So it's like, okay, well, I've got nothing to lose. I may as well do that as well. But I like to see the 212 guys jumping in shows like this, because sometimes, Jose Raymond did it at the Ferrigno a couple of years ago, didn't he?
And so did Hide
Hardy, yeah. I mean, he was always swapping back. I mean, but he did very well as an open, even when he was like 220.
Yeah, he killed it. Yeah. Dave Henry, I think, did the Melbourne one, didn't he? I think Dave Henry did the FedEx. He did one. I'm pretty sure he did one of the Melbourne ones.
Okay.
Open men's.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I wish they could still do that. That's so cool that you could do both. But it's on my bucket list one day. But when the time is right, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. And final question: who's winning the Olympia this year? The Open, Mister
Phil.
Phil, you think Phil's going to win?
Phil, yeah. Brandon is surprising me. Like how good he is looking. Like he's looking obviously, which as you should be, best ever.
Yeah.
But Phil is a 7. Let's not forget he's 7 times. Like there's something about Phil's just got something. He's got the aura. He's got something about him where when he walks out and he's just got it, and the back, and I feel he'll fix his waist. He'll come back and make a redemption, and he'll and let's not forget they're doing a documentary on this. Like I don't think he's going to be anything less than 100%. If I'm getting a documentary filmed on me by such a massive production like that, you know he's going to be 100%, and 100% Phil I don't think is beatable.
Yeah. Well, I did a UK tour with Phil last year in the UK. And they sent over Per Bernal to film for that documentary. They filmed that he came on half. Per Bernal came on half of the tour with us to photograph and get footage. And like you said, like the documentary, plus Phil's been very, very quiet as well, hasn't he? He's been very quiet on social media. He's posted nothing.
It's frustrating, but how exciting is it going to be from the fans as well when he walks out? We haven't seen him in how long?
Yeah,
like
2 years.
It's been years, and he's just going to walk out on the Olympia stage with no photos or nothing. Yeah. I hope he doesn't post one photo of the whole prep.
Me too. Like I don't want to. I mean, literally a bit of forearm or a bit of bicep. That's all I want to see because like normally you get so many guys that literally they're posting their daily progress pictures up till 2 days before the show, and it's like there's no surprise left. There's no surprise factor.
The only thing I'm disappointed is I really wanted to see Flex. I wanted to see Flex up there. It was looking crazy, and it was going to be in such the maddest. It would have been the best lineup if like Ramy, Flex, Hardy, Brandon. That was just going to be all time. I was so pumped for the Olympia. I was annoyed that I wasn't going. Like that was going to be the best. But I think that could happen next year anyway. Yeah. I think there's no reason why that exact lineup can't happen next year. So
yeah. Do you know what I was really looking forward to seeing? Hadi, Flex, and William Bonac in a call out together. All X212s. All at their best as an open, all about 220. I mean, it didn't really matter what their weight was, but all completely unrestricted, and just to see who was the best X212 in the open.
And it's amazing to see 212 guys step up like that and be dominant. Yeah. Like them three guys they're pretty hard to put out of the top 5. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it would have been. But there's no reason why this can't set us up for the best Olympia ever next year. So
Yep. Cool.
But
Yeah. All right then, Aaron. This has been wonderful, mate. I'm very glad we finally got you on, and 9th place at Olympia last year. I'm really looking forward to seeing you come back in 2021, and interesting to see what you and Patrick are going to cook up, mate. Because obviously Patrick's one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. So I'm really I'll keep an eye out for you, mate, and let's see how you do next year at the Olympia. Hopefully you can improve on that 9th place. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Been watching the show for ages, and
cool.
Yeah, thanks again for having us on.
All right then, Aaron. I will speak to you very soon, mate.
Thanks.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the On the Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we are joined all the way from, in Canada, America, Terrence Ruffin. Yay! Terrence, I completely forgot where you live then, mate.
It's all good. One of those two countries, North America.
North America. So where are you from again?
From Alabama.
Alabama. Yeah, why did I had Canada just jumped in my head then. So sorry about that, mate. Terrence, we had you on season 2, episode 7 of MD Global Muscle back in March. You'd not long just taken second place at the Arnold Classic. How have you been, mate? I know obviously you were struggling with training and all that. So how have you been in the last sort of 7 months now, mate?
Yeah, I've been good. Just been training, and the same old bodybuilders' lifestyles are pretty boring. Do the same thing every day. Nothing much has changed. I haven't been training in that in the storage unit in a while. I'm sold about half the stuff off, and now I'm back to training at Dave's gym, and then nothing too much is going on really. I can't really do too much. Yeah, normally I would have did a couple seminars or a couple guest posings, but you know how that is.
Yeah. So, obviously we're now, 3 weeks out for the Olympia. How's your prep been going, mate?
Prep is good. Prep is pretty easy. It's kind of like, I don't know, at this point where, it's just kind of another day. What's today? Another Sunday for me.
Yeah.
I feel fine. All at first don't really bother me. I don't really get tired or anything like that anymore. It's just I eat less and do, a little bit more cardio.
Yeah.
So, that's about it.
Yeah. Now, obviously the Arnold, you were, 0.2 pounds under the weight limit. Obviously that doesn't give you a lot of room to kind of grow anymore unless you kind of put size on it and just really kind of deplete yourself down to make weight. How's your training gone in the last 7-8 months? Have you managed to make it? Because I noticed the recent progress pictures you posted, I noticed your arms were a little bit bigger because I think they needed to be. How else do you feel that, and also your coach, John Meredith, how else do you feel that you've improved your physique since the Arnold Classic?
Oh, well, yeah, man. I've been talking to him. I just saw him last weekend. I flew up there for a day and a half. Basically, just my upper body is just a little bit bigger. Nothing's changed. It just takes time. I've been doing the same program for maybe 2 years now, pretty much. Maybe 1 or 2 exercise changes here and there. It just takes time to put that muscle on. So nothing's changed with my training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's that? How are you feeling though going into the Olympia? Do you feel? Have you set yourself a target, or is there anything you really want to achieve? What was your highest place? It was 7th place, wasn't it, or 5th?
6th in 2017.
6th 2000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
No, I definitely want to do better than that.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I know, to be fair, the competition this year is better than it was. Each year is always a little better. So, yes, obviously it's going to be tougher. If even from the point where looking at my physique in 2017 to looking at it now, if you would have put me back then, I would beat my physique then. But the competition's so good now. It's a tough spot for, anybody in the top 5, top 6. It's kind of harder to decipher who's going to place where besides, like Chris and Breon. But
yeah,
I see myself in the top 5 without a doubt, 3rd to 5th right now. And now I'm really, really excited because I've been away from the stage for so long. The Olympia it feels like long, but it's just been a year. I just missed out on one, but
yeah,
I'm excited to go back and actually compete against some of the best. I think Alex placed 7th last year at the Olympia, so that's kind of like the only person I've really competed against.
Yeah.
In over a year that's been like kind of at that level.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to have get back up there.
Honestly, I think for me the top 3 is going to be you, Chris, and Breon, and I think in terms of Classic, I think the way your physique has come on since 2017 and since what I saw at the Arnold Classic when I was sat front row. I think you're actually a better Classic physique than Chris Bumstead. That's how I feel. No, I do. I really feel that.
I appreciate it. Yo, we need you on the judging panel, though. That's
no, I do. I think your back is. I mean, because I think Chris looked great last year. It was very close between him and Breon. Breon reckons he's going to be about 4 pounds heavy this year. And I know he's going to be really hungry to try and get that title back. But that's kind of how all the conversations I've been having with different people, it has been the 3 names that come up as yours, Chris's, and Breon's for the top 3 at the Olympia this year.
Yeah, I've never been in that conversation. It's kind of funny too, because like I said, I haven't been at the Olympia in over a year, and my last placing was 9th. So it would be pretty awesome to go from 9th to 3rd. Especially I've always missed out on the top 5 spot, and I never get to do a routine. I did a routine the first year at the Olympia, and then after that I haven't been able to do one since. So
that's true.
Hopefully I can do that as well. You know. So. Yeah.
I think even though you've always had that kind of classic physique, I think for me the one thing that you lacked when I saw you in 2017, when you came up by yourself, you looked like the perfect classic. But when you came out, this was 3 years ago, when you came out next to the guys, you did look like you lacked a bit of size. But then the Arnold Classic came back in March, and you just supersized everything. I mean, I remember we had this conversation, and you said it was only like a few pounds of muscle, but it was the few pounds it just increased your classic lines. It just made your physique look really super complete, which is what you need to be a good classic competitor.
For sure, yeah. I mean, my training is very specific to my goals. A lot of guys, they want to get a bigger back. They don't really have. They just say, "Oh, I'm going to train harder." But with me and Joe, we train everything hard. Like, there's no like, "Hey, what can I?" Because I have a lot of clients who they'll be like, "Maybe I should train this hard." I'm like, "Man, you should already be training hard as you can. Your body parts is just." Only difference is we kind of lower the volume for my legs, so they were kind of a standout thing. Yeah. And we put in a couple more arm workouts, chest workouts, and shoulder workouts, and it written very, very well this that year off, and it was tough taking that time off just because you don't know if it's actually worth it at the end of the day until you get there, but it paid off, because I mean I've seen some guys. They take time off, they come back, and they don't do any better, But then you have other guys. I mean, I want to say Jay took some time off. He came back better. Kai, he took time off. He came back better. So those are the kind of guys I kind of used to motivate me to get through that year, and kind of keep my head on straight.
Well, I'll tell you a guy who did take a year off and came back the following year and won it was Flex Lewis in 2012.
Another guy, yeah.
Because there was a guy that was really, he was top 3, top 5. He was one of the top names, and he decided to take a year out because he knew, like yourself, he needed to make improvements. He needed time off to make those necessary improvements in size and proportions to come back and really, really take that step up, which is what you've been, that year off is basically what you're looking to do as well. Yeah.
And it's funny. When I first started bodybuilding, I was like, okay, for me to, and this is, most time when you start bodybuilding now, all your numbers are wrong, everything's wrong. And I was like, I really think that if I'm like around 180 pounds, that'd be kind of where I need to be competitive, like on the Olympia stage. Yeah. I've known before Classic, all that other stuff. That's what I kind of came up with.
Oh, wow.
Now, it took me a while to get there, but I'm kind of there.
Shit. Yeah. Oh, wow.
So, like, I'm 180 right now. I don't have much to lose. So by next year, I'll probably be like 180 on stage. And I kind of use references like Lita Bradley, who was around that weight, Sean Ray early in his career. He might have been a little bit heavy because he's a bit taller, but he was pretty close to, I think he was like 190 or so, when he first stepped on the first stage. So yeah, I kind of use those guys as references. And yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember, like I said, when 1990 to 1991, Lita Brada put on 4 pounds of muscle, and it completely changed his physique. Completely changed it.
Yeah. It's cool. I got to meet him, too. He came, his son trains with Joe. We got the same trainer. Oh, nice. He came down for the Tampa Pro. And, he's still in crazy good shape. It's really amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I think him, Barry DeMay, and even Rich Gaspari, the 3 guys like in their 50s, they're still training hard and still pushing it. And I love to see that. It's great to see,
Exactly. Yeah. They definitely look amazing. Yeah, especially, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously the Olympia being moved to Orlando. I mean, I suppose the move of any venue doesn't really affect you as a competitor, does it?
No, it doesn't really bother me. And the cool thing is, it's an hour and a half down the road now. I've been to that hotel twice so far for Masters and Nationals.
Yeah,
I got to see the hotel and everything. It's a nice spot. So, and then, like I said, it's close. I mean, it's kind of I guess it's a little bit of an advantage, but honestly, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, because traveling doesn't bother me. I guess the only people, and most people have to travel anywhere, so the location isn't, like you said, isn't a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's been such a. I think the good thing is that the Olympia is just going ahead. I think people are that kind of used to this new normal or whatever you want to call it. There's unprecedented times. I think they don't care where it is. I think they like the Cali Pro and then the British Grand Prix. They're in these venues that weren't necessarily probably going to be their first choice for venues. But I think we've just got to kind of take what we're given this year. You know.
Yeah, and I think anyone that makes it work, the competitors are appreciative of. You know. I'm definitely happy. Like after they explained why they left Vegas, like only 250 people.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm definitely happy they moved it to Florida. So, whatever they can do to make it happen is definitely a good thing.
Oh, good. And also, did you like your article I wrote on you for MD?
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah,
oh wow,
yeah,
this is the article I wrote for MD a few months ago. Oh, I swear to God, that was not pre-planned. That was not pre-planned. That's so cool, mate. No, I really appreciate it.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
I mean, I got it framed from this custom lady in town, and she did my first one in the magazine. I got done first, and she did such a good job. I got her to do this one too up here.
Oh, so, mate, I'm honored. I'm honored. My article on you has been framed, and it's in your office. That is so cool. That's so cool, mate. Thank you. No, that's just made my day. That, mate. It's made my day.
It.
Cool. Well, I just wanted to get you on because, like I said, it was we had you on in March, and I mean, I kind of want you to win this year. I really do want you to win. I think if you're not top 3, I'm going to be really, really like disappointed because I really like your physique, the way it's come on. Also, did you give it any more thought about your stage color?
My what?
Do you remember we spoke in March about your stage color? Your stage color. Do you remember? I said to you, I said, we spoke about it, and I said that's something. I think that's something maybe you should look at for the Olympia because these little tiny differences they can make a big difference overall. You know.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I haven't really figured out what I'm gonna do just yet. It's kind of tough because like you only get one shot. You don't even and then you can't even practice on how you look. Like I wish I had like a practice stage I can go look at myself with different tans on. That'll make life simple, but yeah, you only get one shot, and if you mess up, then it just is what it is.
I just think because obviously I'm really nitpicking. I'm really looking for ways for you to be better, and I was thinking he's a little bit more arms and stage color slightly different. But I noticed in your progress pictures you've been posting recently, I noticed the arms have come up, and I was thinking, shit, his proportions are perfect now. Your condition's great. You've got the vacuum. You know, you've got the posing, you know, doesn't he, you know, what can you say about your posing? It is the best. It is, I mean, it is the best right now. Your posing is, and I want to see something like that Survivor routine. Cause I mean, if you bring that to the Olympia.
I think this will be the best, speaking of that, I think this routine is going to be, I'm hoping people will like it just as much. We'll see. I think it's going to be one of my best.
Good.
And it's got that same feel where it's like an old song, like Survivor. This one's actually older.
Okay.
But it's remixed, so it's kind of like classic where there's a mix of old and new in it, you know, so both people can appreciate it.
Oh, Terrence, I'm excited, mate. I'm excited. I'm excited because there's two things I keep banging on about. It's conditioning and posing. It's the two things I really like to see. And I like to see the aesthetic physiques, and you're everything rolled into one. So I'm really rooting for you for the Olympia this year, mate.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And also, can you tell me somebody else that went from 9th to 1st at the Olympia? Can you tell me that?
Oh.
Come on. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman, yeah.
97 to 98. He went from 9th to 1st. So it's being done by Ronnie, and it can be done by you too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
No pressure, mate. No pressure.
Oh man.
Right. Okay then, mate. I just, like I said, I wanted to get you on for a little 15-minute quick update because I want to see, you know, I just want to give you a bit of bit of publicity in the run up to the Olympia, and it all helps, you know. And just want to just wish you all the best, mate, for 3 weeks' time, you know, because I'm really excited to see what you're going to be bringing.
I think everyone's going to be pretty happy with the package they're bringing, the posing routine I do. I think it's going to be good. Good. I'm excited, mate. I'm excited. All right then, Terrence.
Okay then, mate. Well, just like I said, keep your head down and just keep working, and which you'll do anyway. And all the best for the Olympia.
All right. You guys stay safe over there.
All right. Thank you, Terrence. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the On the Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we are joined by two-time Fitness Olympia champion, Whitney Jones. Yay!
What's up, guys? How are you?
I'm really good, thank you, Whitney. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't believe I've not got you on before. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, now's the perfect time.
Yeah, because there's a bit of a contest in a few weeks, isn't there?
Something. You know, I can't quite remember the name of it, but just the biggest contest of the year, the biggest in our sport. So I'm pretty excited.
Well, you should be excited because obviously you're the two-time Olympia champion. You're the defending champion. How are you feeling going in? How's this year gone? Obviously, it's been a bit of a crazy year for everyone. How are you feeling going into this? Well, hopefully, will be your third Olympia win.
Yes, that's the goal, obviously. You know, I do. I feel great. It was the fact that they can pull this off is amazing because honestly, this year for everyone has been out of control. So many curveballs thrown. And the fact that they are pulling it all together, they're moving it. I mean, I can't even literally fathom the details that are going into transferring such a huge event, and they had less than 4 weeks to do it. So I'm just grateful that they're pulling it off. For the athletes, you know, when we got told it was moving to December, for me, it's just like, wow, that's even more time to continue to refine my physique, work on my routine. So it didn't really change much for me except go, all right, cool, more time to grind and keep pushing and bring the best I've ever brought.
Yeah, I mean, that thing with the, I was shocked because I remember I had Bob Chick on a few months ago and he says, I'll dispel the rumors. We are not moving it to Florida. We are not doing, and he reeled off a few things of rumors that were going around. Because obviously Florida's been very, it's been one of the less restrictive places. Right. I mean, that's why they moved the New York Pro, why they moved to Tampa. It made sense to maybe have it in Florida. So I suppose it makes no difference to you. So have you been to the new venue?
I haven't, you know, because they had the show there, Nationals, just recently, but I didn't make that trip out. So, but everyone that I know that was there, coaches, athletes, IFBB officials, everyone was like floored at how amazing it was. So that kind of gets exciting and hypes it up. They said it's super classy, plenty of room for all the different stuff they have going on, the expo, the Meet the Olympians. So everything is a go at this point, and that's what's cool. I mean, truthfully, as a fitness athlete, I can't imagine going into the Olympia with the possibility of not having an audience. I mean, for the physique round, it's different. For me, you know, you're staring directly at the judges the whole time. So the audience for that part isn't as crucial for me personally, but the routine, I mean, I feed off the energy and the audience. And it's like when I come out, I need to like vibe off that. So I thought, well, if there's no audience, I need to prepare for that. And so I've just kind of been mentally practicing as if you hear the crowd and you hear the energy. Because if it's not there, I didn't want that to have me off my game at all. So, but now that there's going to be, even better.
I think for me, as a media guy, audience, you know, whatever, audience member, whatever you want to call it, at the Arnold Classic, it's kind of like the strongmen that kind of open the show, that get the show going. But for the Olympia, it's the fitness, because when those fitness girls come out, fitness ladies come out, people like yourself, the champ, you know, that's when the audience really kind of wakes up and it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the evening. So I suppose you're right. If there's no audience, how are we going to be able to generate any real kind of, I don't know. I think, I mean, 250 people in the audience, I don't know how that would have worked at the, in Vegas, you know, it just would have been disappointing, I suppose. Coming the Arnold Classic, there was, I mean, I was sat in the front row and I didn't even notice there wasn't an audience at the judging. But
oh, really?
But all the competitors I've spoke to, they said they felt it personally.
Yes. Yeah. And I was lucky enough to be in the audience too for prejudge at the Arnold. And it was just weird. You know, it felt weird to even kind of clap because you're like, oh, is everyone quiet? Yeah. But, you know, it does. It's like for a lot of people, and especially for the other divisions where that's their only stage time, it does. You feed off the energy, the music, you know, it just allows you to focus and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I was glad at finals they were able to allow an audience by that time, which for the fitness girls, you know, it was great because obviously they had that for their routines, but still it was different, but you got to prepare for it. And the fact is you just want the contest to go on. So if there's no audience, but now doesn't seem to be an issue. Florida's got it ready, and we are going to have some fun.
Thank you, Florida.
Yeah, seriously, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me this year, the two classes that I think really, where there's more excitement than I think there's ever really been, is the 212 and the fitness. For obvious reasons in the fitness, but you know those are the two categories I feel personally where there's. I mean, I've been writing about it in my column for several times now, and I follow fitness, but I wouldn't think to write about it that much because it's, you know, it's exciting, but it's not as exciting as it's been this year. You know,
sure.
we've got the return of Oksana. You know, you got Missy coming up from winning the Arnold Classic, so she's looking to really move up, and you know, from runner-up spot last year. We've got the return of Adela Garcia. First of all, what's your feelings on Adela returning? What was your response when you heard that?
Well, you know, I've seen her several times throughout the years because the first time I actually got to compete with Adela was her last Olympia. It was
really?
My first Olympia, her last Olympia.
Okay.
So we've only been able to do one show together, and we've always through the years kind of teased about, so when are you coming out of retirement? You're going to get back in the game? Because I know she missed it.
Right.
So I wasn't shocked, especially because I think with Athleticon, the rock show that was supposed to happen this year, I think several athletes were coming out of retirement for that purpose. Okay. And that was supposed to be in October, with Olympia being September. So I think at that point, some of these people who came out of retirement were like, well, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's do the Olympia. Let's roll into the Athleticon. Yeah. And that would give them more of a push to come out of retirement. Yeah. So wasn't surprised once Athleticon was kind of the buzz, but I love it. You know, honestly, the opportunity to compete on stage with Adela and Oksana and have that many championship titles on the stage is freaking ridiculously epic. And to be part of it, I'm like, hell yeah.
Okay, so let's add up the amount of titles, the amount of Olympia win. I'm just trying to think if there's any years missed out from. I mean, you've got 2 with you. You've got 4 with Oksana, so that's 6. Is it Adela won 7?
She's won 8.
She's won 8. So it's 8 plus 4 plus 2. So that's 12, 14. That's 14 years. And there's nobody else, is there? I'm just trying to think.
No, and it's all consecutive. So that's, well, at least from Adela. Once Adela was done, then it went to Oksana, and then it's gone to me. So there was, you know, Adela had an injury, so hers weren't consecutive. Yeah. But once she was done, it's just kind of, it's gone in that pattern.
So what was Adela's placing in her last Olympia? Do you remember?
What was that?
What was Adela's placing in her last Olympia?
Oh gosh, I want to say it was either 2nd or 3rd, I think.
So Oksana retired in 2017, wasn't it? I was there, and so she went out. She went out on top. So are you feeling the pressure?
I am, but I'm not. And actually, that brings up a good point because that's right. Oksana didn't beat Adela for Olympia. Now I need to probably go back and check my stats, but I think I think Adela did win her last one. Okay. But a lot of people have asked, you know, going into this, you've got to feel so much pressure. As an athlete, I've never gone into the shows like that. I can't say that. I did 2 years into being a new pro. I put all this pressure on myself, on the placing, and it totally screwed me up. You know, it's like I was doing horrible because I was putting pressure on myself. So then it was like, you know what? Why am I doing this? I'm doing it because I love it and I have fun. So create a routine that is explosive, dynamic, and something I love.
Yeah.
Work on your physique constantly to improve and do what the judges are recommending just to like improve your placings. But don't worry about how it ends up. Don't worry about the result. And as soon as I did that, I started actually placing.
Okay.
The first show that I was like, whatever, I'm doing this for me, I'm doing it for fun, was the first time I ever placed at a pro show. And I thought, whoa, okay, I might be onto something.
Yeah.
I just put aside all expectations. You know, truthfully, every athlete, especially at the Olympia, they train and they work for first place.
Yeah.
Nobody trains for second, or they shouldn't.
Yeah.
But you can't worry about it. You can only bring the best you. And I know that sounds so cliche, but in fitness, what we present, you know, our routine is 2/3 and our physique is 1/3. And our routines are all different. You look at Oksana and Adela and myself, the 3 championship title holders. We are so different. Our styles are so different. So honestly, it's not like you're comparing apples to apples. So what happens this year at the Olympia, it's not up to us. It's up to the judges. I'm going to bring the absolute best me, as I'm sure they are too. And how it shakes out of our control. I just want to step off stage and be like, I nailed it. I did everything this prep that I wanted to. I achieved what I wanted to. And hopefully it works out to be that 3-time champ. If not, I know 100% without a doubt I did everything I possibly could.
I think with the Olympians, the people like yourself, the absolute best of the best, when you hear, like when I asked Brandon Curry how he felt about Phil Heath coming back, I said, does it worry you? Does it freak you out? And he kind of hinted, like you're hinting there, you're kind of clearly saying that it kind of brings out the best in you. It kind of fires you up. It doesn't kind of make you, it doesn't make you kind of like, okay, I'm really worried now. It doesn't worry you. It actually gets you excited and actually makes you work harder.
Absolutely. And, you know, people said that when Oksana and Adela announced they were coming out of retirement, my phone blew up both of those days. Like, I can't believe it. You've got to be so pissed.
Yeah.
Why would I be pissed? I don't want anything easy. Nothing in my life has ever been easy. So if I'm going to win, I want it to be against the absolute best, the biggest challenges. And I knew for me, both of them coming in and trying to work for that title and knock me off was going to just drive me. And I do. I'm one of the athletes that I follow all of them on Instagram. I don't do the, I can't look at them. I can't look at their physique. It trips me out. Hell no. I'm actually the opposite.
Oh, really?
If I'm on a day where I'm kind of tired, I look at that and it's like, no, because I will never be outworked. I do not ever want to settle for a lazy day. And so if I'm just, my body aches, you know, we're in those last stages, but I look at all of the girls doing Olympia and I'm like, nah, I doubt they're trying to take a down day. I doubt they're trying to rest, and it fires me up. I'll see their progress photos and I'm like, damn, they look good. And it drives me to go, good. I want to look good. Yeah. So I'm opposite. I love the competition. I've always been ultra competitive. So it lights fires under me for sure. Good.
That's really good to hear. Because I mean, there's one or two, there's two different kind of types of athletes. There's the ones that literally want to just stay in the, like Sean Roden, he said, stay in your own lane. I don't focus what so-and-so or this guy, that guy looks like. He said, because maybe they can get distracted and maybe they can get in, the head games. And there's people like yourself that actually do follow the athletes and do follow the contenders and the former champions, and it actually fires you up. That's great to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's, for me, I always claim 100% I'm a mental athlete more than I am a physical. The physical part, you put in the work day in and day out. But if you're not working on your mental game, I don't think you'll ever be able to achieve a title. Yeah. There's so much that goes into it. You need to step on stage the day of Olympia knowing I got this. Nobody's got competition on me. This is mine. And having that confidence and believing it, visualizing the moment that your name is announced. Those are all part of the training for me that I'm like, no, I'm ready. Like it drives me. I absolutely love it. I focus on me, but yet I go in and I work on my mental game just as much.
At what point did you really adopt that mental attitude? Was there a point in your career when you just went, okay, I'm going to just, this is how I'm going to approach it. I'm going to work on my mental game, because I found, I spoke to guys like Flex Lewis, and they said that when they adopted that approach, that's when they really, really got leveled up.
Yeah, I would say, I've had several injuries in my career in fitness.
Yeah.
Not all of the injuries were in fitness, but I've had 16 surgeries.
Wow.
I've broken literally almost every major bone in my body.
Are you a bit clumsy?
So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So what from?
It comes with the territory for fitness, but I'm 100% a daredevil, and I do stuff, and it's like, I'll have an idea, and I'm like, ooh, I wonder if I could do that.
Yeah.
There's only one way to find out.
Weren't you at the Arnold Classic last year doing one-legged flips because your one leg is that correct? Have I got that right?
Yeah. So that was 2018.
Right.
So
yeah.
I missed. I had to sit out 2017 Olympia. That's the one Olympia I was not able to compete at. I qualified, but had to sit out because I had a neck injury.
Okay.
So I had a neck surgery, and I have a 12-piece metal cage that they had to put my neck back together. So everyone at that point said, oh, career-ending injury, Whitney will never be back. And I thought, you guys are wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. So I rehabbed, and my goal was to step on stage in 2018 for the Arnold Classic.
Yeah.
But then it was less than 4 weeks out in training, I blew out my knee and tore my ACL and my MCL.
Yeah.
But I kept everything secret. I was like, I'm still doing this. The whole talk was, and all with media was like, there's no way. Whitney's name is on that roster. She had neck surgery less than a year ago. Yeah. There's no way she's coming out. And I was just dead set on doing it. And I thought, I may not be at my best. I have a bunk neck. I have weakness in my arms. I had one leg that was not even functional. Yeah. But I'm like, you know what? I'm finding a way. I redid my routine in 3 weeks, came up with skills that didn't require both legs, and I could do some like upper body stuff, and went in and just said, I'm going to show people that you can come back from a neck injury. Now, again, no one knew about my knee, but I had to actually perform with a full surgical metal brace just for stability. So I ended up winning. And Arnold on stage was like, what's this contraption? Why are you wearing this huge knee brace? And so in the interview on stage, I said, well, I actually tore my ACL just a couple weeks ago, my ACL and my MCL, and I'm flying home tomorrow for surgery. He was like, what? Yeah. And then, of course, I had the surgery, and 6 months to the day was the Olympia. So I only had 1.5 legs at that Olympia. But
1.5 legs.
Olympia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first Olympia win. So it was a great year, but it was just overcoming adversity. Wow. And honestly, for the mindset, that's where it all started. In 2017, when it's like, if I can do this, then I felt unstoppable, because there's always a way. There is always a way. I mean, for fitness, nobody knows our routine. I can create whatever I want. So if I have an injury, which, most of us usually do, you find a way around it. You work with the body parts that aren't injured, and you create skills. And most of my routines are totally unconventional, because I have no formal gymnastics training or anything. Yeah. So I just work with what I can, and it was great because it taught me new skills I would have never tried. Yeah. I mean, when you have one leg, it's like, how am I going to do a 2-minute routine when I have one leg? And this one is literally just kind of
incredible. Yeah.
Does nothing, but it worked, and nobody knew on stage.
So nothing's broke, nothing's fallen off in the last year. Nothing. Everything. You're intact. You're intact. You're in one piece.
I am.
Wow.
Last Olympia, and I just recently announced this in an interview. It was on the Olympia page. I actually tore my rotator cuff and labrum before last Olympia too. What? And again, I didn't announce it, but it's not like you wear anything, so I didn't have to wear a brace. Yeah. But again, at that point, my legs were stronger, my knee was improved and rehabbed. So I focused on stuff that I could use for my legs and had to eliminate some of the movements upper body.
Have you ever thought about taking up anything safer, like skydiving without a parachute?
You never know.
Yeah, because you're really, that's just I mean, thing is, if you're going in this year with no injuries and stuff, I bet as the defending champion, I bet when you heard Oksana and Odetta and all that, and Missy's coming up, and I bet you were like, wow, that is nothing compared to what I've been through in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and honestly it is, because it's like, it's mindset.
Yeah.
I know what I'm capable of, and I'm different from all of them, and I'm just going to focus on me doing what I've been doing for the last years that's gotten me to this point. And that's what's exciting, though, because it's like, okay, what new skills? Every year I bring at least 2 new skills to my routines, whether it's the Arnold, Olympia, every routine I put together. I keep everything quiet. I don't post parts of my routine. I want everything to be a surprise and delivered, and on stage, people will see the full show. Yeah. So it's neat because it's like, okay, what new skills can I come up with? Yeah. And truth be told, when you're at the top, it's hard to come up with brand new skills that are wow and super exciting. But that's why I love that challenge. It's like the day after a show, the morning I wake up, I write my list of critiques, things I wanted to improve, things I didn't like, things that went really well. I look at my physique. I set my goals for what I want to achieve before I hit the stage the next Olympia, what I'm going to hit quarterly so that I can make sure I'm on point.
Wow.
So it's always, it's always a process the day after a show, because that's where it's fresh. And, it doesn't matter if you're at the very top of your game, you're winning. There's always work to be done, because you got to up your game every single time.
It's always widely considered. They say that even the male bodybuilding fans will actually admit, they say, look, that the hardest working athletes, certainly in the female categories, is the fitness categories, because not only do they have to look amazing in the physique round, but they have to put these unbelievable high energy routines. Because I think you can't really appreciate a fitness routine until you see it on the stage in front of you, and you blink and you've missed 3 moves. I mean, it is you put something on your Instagram that you were doing the jumps with the press up jump things, and I was just like, it looked like CGI. It didn't even look real. It did.
Yeah, I mean, but if we're doing our job right, that's the way it should be. It's all that element of surprise and constantly being like, what did I just see?
Yeah.
You don't want to give the viewer a chance to even process it before you hit them with another, whoa, wow. Yeah. I mean, that's what makes a good routine, where it ends and you're like, no, I want more.
Yeah.
I can admit I've watched routines before, even my own, where I'm like, oh my God, is this over yet? 2 minutes is lasting so long. So you learn from that. It's like, it's our job to be the entertainment, to wake the crowd up, to bring that passion. And so when we step on stage, I need the audience to feel it. I need the audience to feel my excitement and my power and my explosiveness. Otherwise, I'm not doing my job.
I've always wondered, because it's like say a powerlifter when they've got a 1 rep max. I always wonder the kind of mental space they have to get into before they, I've spoke to Phil Heath, and he said he likes a little moment by himself before he walks on stage. He just has a little mantra, he whispers something to himself. I always wonder that the mental clarity you have to have as you're walking onto that Olympia stage to do your routine, because it's a one and done. If you're not in the game and your mind's floating, or you're overawed by the lights or the audience, it can be the difference between a routine being amazing and not amazing. So how are you? What's your mental space before you go on stage?
It's the same for me. I like to, I don't watch any of the routines before.
Okay. Yeah.
I focus on mine. I will listen to my music once or twice early on, kind of when I'm backstage, and then I shut the noise. I have a playlist I put together for each Olympia. I have a get ready playlist the morning while I'm getting ready for the 2-piece round.
Yeah.
I have a playlist for warm-ups and for right before the routine. But for me, it's about calming the energy, because like I said, I get excited. This is the big reveal. So family, friends, clients, everyone's like, what's your routine? Everyone knows now they're not getting it out of me. So it's exciting, where it's like, this is finally the chance. I get to show everyone what I've been working on for months. So I can get super excited. But for me, I've learned through the years, the best thing is I calm everything. I get everything ready to go, that peaceful, confident calmness. And when I hit that stage, it's go time. I'm ready.
because the precision of these routines is so precise. I just wonder sometimes, and the adrenaline, you know, and you walk into the theater. I mean, I get it as a media guy, as a fan. I feel the end. Like as soon as I walk into the theater, like that huge arena, you know, wherever, obviously when it was at the Orleans and stuff, it's very easy to get distracted, you know, it's very easy to get, so I always wonder what it's like for the competitors on that huge stage, you know, just that, you're that little tiny dot, you know, on the stage, jumping around. I always wonder, like, it must be so hard, you know. I mean, male bodybuilders get nervous, and all they have to do is literally just go on stage and just try and remember the routine. Most of them don't even put routines together. So, but you know, and you ladies, like, I mean, you know, you've been working on a routine like year round. I mean, for that 2 minutes, it's incredible.
Yep. Yeah, and you're right. It's insane. Like, I always go to the show on Saturday because we're done usually on Friday nights.
Yeah.
And it's so different because when I walk into that arena on Saturday for finals, every year still I go, I can't believe I was up there on that stage.
You're just in the zone, You're in the zone.
2-minute routine.
Yeah.
And it's you're just in awe. You look around and you're like, oh my gosh, this arena is full. And those people were watching me. And like, again, it's weird because I'm like, I wasn't nervous. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And it's been so many years I've been coming to the Olympia. This is my 7th that I've qualified for. You'd think it would be kind of different, and it's not. It is just as special every single year.
Do you ever think about how many you want to win? Or do you just take it 1 year at a time?
I take it 1 year at a time, honestly, because again, as long as I'm loving it, as long as I'm enjoying it, as long as I'm healthy, that's what matters. And again, I've learned, I know myself, when I focus on I must win, that's when you won't win. So I just focus on what I need to do to get that title
every day,
to put in the work and to make those changes. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of, everything's always just up in the air. I never would have thought I would have even qualified for the Olympia years ago, much less, you know, place on the Olympia stage. And now I've won 2 titles. It's like, you know, I just don't think about it because I think, again, what's worked for me has not been analyzing it. It's just been enjoying it and appreciating it.
Well, I think, like I said, I mean, I've always enjoyed the fitness, but this year I'm really, really excited about it. I mean, I'm genuinely excited about a category that, I mean, I'm a purist, I'm a bodybuilding fan, but, you know, I've always appreciated the fitness, but this year I'm really excited. I really am. I think just to see all those consecutive champions, yourself, Oksana, Adela, you know, and you got the newcomer, you know, the Missy, who was second last year, won the Arnold Classic, you know, she's coming up fast, she's improving. You got Ariel, you got Dorina Wilson. Who else we got? There's one. I'm sure there's another one.
Tiffany Chandler, Jacqueline Baker.
Jacqueline Baker. Yeah, Jacqueline Baker. She was checking my stories today. I mean, it's just that the level of competition is, I can't think of another year in any category where there's been so many, you know, kind of past champions and, you know, champions who are still really, you know, they're still being able to bring it. You know, people like Oksana, who's only really out for a couple of years. It's not like she's, I mean, Adela, I'm not sure how she's going to do. I don't really have her in my head as a potential winner. Like you said, she's coming back because she missed it and she loved it, you know, but, I mean, yeah, maybe she could pull it out the bag. I don't know. But it's just, I think that when the competition's that stacked, I think even if you're not that crazy on the category, you've got to be excited about what, you know, seeing the biggest and the best, you know, the biggest names, you know, coming together and really kind of going for it. It's very exciting.
And everyone's bringing it too. Like, because we talk, we're actually in the fitness division, we're friends. And we get along, we check in, like, how's your prep going?
Are you sure?
You know,
sure?
we're honest too. It's like sometimes
sure?
we're like, girl, I'm struggling. This is hurting. But everyone is bringing it this year. I think the extra time has helped all of us. Where we didn't have to push so hard so early. And now we're just excited again that we actually get to do it. It's not canceled. They found a way. So everyone's bringing their A game. It's going to be an interesting show.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ones I'm really going to be. It's going to be good. I think it's going to be an interesting Olympia. I think even at the Arnold Classic, there was an appreciation of that night show for what they managed to bring and the fact that the show's still going on. But I think that because it's, you know, Dan Solomon and Jake have been through so much this year. I mean, imagine buying the Olympia and then COVID. And I know what he paid for it, and it is not change. It's not chump change. I'm telling you, trust me on this. And imagine every, like COVID happening, and you're just literally handed something that you're not even sure whether you can really pull it off. So the fact it is going ahead, and it's just, and all these, these amazing competitors like yourself and Oksana and all these people are, are throwing their hat in the ring. I think it's going to make for a very special Olympia this year. For
sure. Absolutely. And we're going to make sure to deliver performances that are unreal just to show our appreciation. Honestly, it's like everyone is just going in, and we're going to make this one hell of a show. No question. No doubt about it.
I think it's going to be a hell of a show opener this year with the fitness. I think it's really going to set the tone. It's going to be, and you obviously got like Phil Heath coming back in the open, so there's excitement there. The 212 is just what the guys are bringing there. It's incredible. All the categories, classic, figure, fitness, bikini. It's just, I think it's going to be a really, really, I think it's going to be one for the history books this year.
I think so too. It's going to be amazing, and the new venue and new place. Change is good. Sometimes it's nice to kind of shake it up and have a different environment, different atmosphere. So I'm excited for that too.
Here's a question. Do you think they'll keep it in Orlando next year if it goes really, really well this year?
I'm curious because honestly, by what they were saying, and this is coming from people that I know aren't going to sugarcoat it. Yeah. It could go off so well that they're like, heck yeah, let's do it. Yeah. I mean, Vegas is great. It's easy. You can fly in there and there's 8 million things to do. It's entertainment capital of the world. But you never know. I mean, if it goes well in Florida, we could see it.
Well, it's the bonus for me is it's closer. So it means less flights from the UK. I could do that in one flight instead of 3 or 4. I mean, and I'll see people go about how great Vegas is. When I go to Vegas for the Olympia, I'm not going to Vegas for Vegas. I'm going to Vegas for the Olympia. So I mean, at one point, I don't think I even left the hotel for 3 days because I'm just literally immersed in the Olympia. I'm not looking to go to the Grand Canyon or, go to strip clubs or whatever. I'm there. I'm literally I am there for the Olympia. That's all I care about. So it doesn't, as long as it's, and if it's in a good venue and stuff like that, that's all I really care about.
Sure. And you think about it too, like you said, the Olympia is not cheap. And I know Jake and Dan go all out. I mean, that's what's amazing. So if they can get some crazy deal in Florida and doing it in Orlando, that may allocate more money to do all these other extravagant things. So you never know. It probably comes down a little bit to finances too, to go, heck, why go back to Vegas if they're going to work such an amazing deal? Let's keep it here.
Yeah. Well, they had the Olympia in Orlando in 1991, and that for me was one of the greatest Olympias of all time.
Really?
Yeah. Lee Haney's last win. That was when Dorian came along, and it was it was an amazing Olympia. That was one of the most memorable Olympias I think ever. So, okay, Whitney, this has been absolutely wonderful, as I expected. I knew it would be.
It's always great talking with you guys.
Thank you. I knew it would be, and just all the best, and let's fingers crossed you get that third Olympia win, and nothing else breaks or snaps or falls off or whatever. I don't just.
I know, right? Losing a limb. Hey, I'd still get on stage. It doesn't matter.
She'll just do more. Well, you can still do your one-arm push-up, so.
Absolutely. There's always a way.
You only need one arm for that one. Yeah. Right. Okay, Whitney. Thank you so much, and all the best for 3 weeks' time. And thank you for the time. We really appreciate it being this close to the Olympia. And just want to wish you all the very best.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and can't wait to see everybody there. Countdown's on.
Thank you, Whitney.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Bye-bye. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the On the Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we are joined by new NPC Nationals champ, Jonathan Withers. Yay! How you doing? I've got to give you the big yay, mate, because you're the champ. You're now a new IFBB pro.
Yes, sir. It's wild. I didn't expect it, but it worked out.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Before I saw the pictures on the NPC Instagram, I'd never heard of you. I literally knew absolutely nothing about you. So please give us a bit of background.
Okay, so I'm kind of a low profile guy. I like working out, and I've only been bodybuilding for a few years, like roughly 2.
2?
Yep, 2 years. I've always worked out. I played sports in high school, and then I was in the Marine Corps for 5 years. And then I got out of the Marine Corps, and I was like, okay, I don't have to run as much anymore.
Yeah.
I can bodybuild now. And so I hired Justin Compton as my coach.
Yeah.
And we just started working together, and we did a show. And then he's like, hey, man, you got a good enough package. You can hit a national stage. So that's what we did this year, and it worked out.
So hang on a minute. So he said, I mean, when you said that, I thought you meant like 2 years ago or a year ago. So this was your first attempt at the nationals, and you've won the heavyweights and the overall.
Yes, sir. That was it.
Okay. I hate this guy already.
I've been getting that a lot. So,
how old are you then, Jonathan?
I'm 29.
29. So perfect age to be turning pro.
That's it. I'm not super young, but I'm still in my kind of my prime, and I haven't put a lot of wear and tear on my body yet. So
yeah. Wow. So we said just before we started filming, because I noticed you did the Ronnie Coleman Classic, so I assumed that you were from Texas. Do you want to tell us where you live now?
I live in Denver, Colorado now. My wife got into med school here, and so we moved up here last year.
Okay. So are you Phil Heath from Denver, Colorado? Do you train at the Armbrust gym?
I do. I actually work at Powerhouse Gym in Aurora because I live closer to it.
Yeah.
And then I train at Armbrust 3-4 days a week.
Okay. Any sneak peek of Phil or how he's looking?
I'll just say Phil's showing up.
Oh, come on, give us some more than that. Come on, mate, come on.
I mean, I don't see him a lot. He trains late. He trains once everyone's gone. So
okay.
I mean, just in passing, and he always has hoodies on. But I mean, it's Phil Heath.
Yeah. Because I remember when we did the tour with him last year. He says he likes to train late because, especially like now, he says he likes to train late when no one's around, and he likes to keep everyone guessing. You know.
That's it. I mean, it's Phil Heath though. He's gonna show up.
Yeah, I think he's gonna win.
Yeah. What was that?
You think he's gonna win?
Oh, I do. I hands down.
Yeah, I think it's about 80% general consensus that he'll win his 8th Olympia.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think he's probably gonna be fresh with the time off, and you know, I think he's. I mean, I've seen him in the gym a lot. He's like getting there, and so he's putting the work in.
How's the face looking? Nice and sunken, is it? Or?
I mean, he always kind of looks pretty lean, though.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we did the tour with him. We did a tour with him last year, and it was 7 weeks out from the Olympia, and he kept teasing us on the tour, saying, flashing his abs, showed me his legs one night. He says, "What do you reckon? Should I jump on a 6-week diet and go do the Olympia?" And I was like, "Stop teasing us, Phil."
Yeah, I mean, he's a freak, so I mean, he can do anything he wants.
Yeah, well, so what made you do the Ronnie Coleman Classic? Because obviously you're in Colorado. You're originally from Texas. Was it what drew you to go do the Ronnie Coleman Classic in Texas?
Well, I was still there. I was still in school at the time.
Okay.
I graduated college last August, and the show was in April. Mm-hmm. So my wife moved out here a little bit earlier than I did. Mm-hmm. So I was still there and got to compete and things like that.
Yeah. So well, the thing I want to know is, like, I need to know more about you as an athlete, because about what your plans are. So what you've turned pro now. I mean, did you? And it sounds like a weird question, but did you expect to turn pro at that show? What were the goals?
Me and my coach Justin Compton. I mean, like he was in my ear all year saying, "Hey man, if you put the work in, you can get your pro card. We don't know if you're gonna win the whole class, but you got 2 shots at nationals." So.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird year though with COVID, because I originally planned on doing USAs, and so I started prep in beginning of April, and then we had to shut that down, and then we did a little rebound, which I mean it helped me because I still had access to a gym and a lot of people didn't, and so everything I mean I'd go work out 2 times a day. I was doing 2-a-days at some points.
Wow. And
so it benefited me because I didn't have anything else to do. I just eat and train.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, they're going to do nationals this year. Let's just prep for it and plan for that. And he kept telling me, he's like, "Hey man, you can do this." Yeah. And, so, I mean, I kind of had a feeling I was going to be in that top 5 no matter what.
Yeah.
And then if I showed up, I could do it. Yeah. But I mean, I didn't plan on winning overall though.
The thing is, like, I suppose if it's your first nationals, I mean, you'd be pretty cocky to say, "I'm going to go in, I'm going to win the overall." It'd be like, people would be like, "This guy's getting a bit high on himself," but you did it. So I'm just wondering, like, What a shock that must have been. What a surprise. I mean, I saw on your Instagram, you were saying, I can't believe it, IFBB Pro. It's like, this is just, it's kind of what you train for, but not kind of what you expected,
Exactly. So it didn't really hit, I mean, it still hasn't hit me, but we were eating dinner after the show that night, and Jay Cutler sent me a video message.
Oh, nice.
And I mean, he's my favorite bodybuilder of all time. Like, I mean, I remember being in high school and, 2009 is the year he came back and just like proved everybody wrong.
Yeah.
And that was the year I graduated high school. And so I remember having the magazine with the quad stomp on it.
Yeah.
And for him to message me and he's like, "Hey, what's up, champ?" I mean, I started crying. I did. I mean, we were sitting at the table at this like burger place, and I'm like, I don't know how to handle this.
Wow.
I have no idea. Like it still didn't hit me. And it was just wild. It's still been that way all week. I mean, I still haven't got back to everyone that's messaged me. So
yeah, you see, I think the thing that separates you is you didn't just get your IFBB Pro card because it's, there's lots of opportunities for athletes all over the world to go and do shows, to play second in a certain show in a category and still get the pro card. You won not just your category, but you won the overall. Now you're following, 1991, Kevin Navrone, guys like Chris Cormier. Actually, Cormier won the USA's. But, you got real, there's real pedigree. There's a real prestige to getting your pro card by way of winning an overall at the Nationals. I mean, that must be so satisfying, not just turning pro, but winning an overall Nationals. It really sets you apart.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the list, I mean, Lee Haney was there and gave me the award.
Yeah.
And
83?
So
82. So 82 Nationals champion he was.
Yeah. And that was already mind-blowing. I mean, I'm backstage and I'm talking to Lee Haney.
Yeah.
And it just an unbelievable experience. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, Evan Sinapani.
Yeah.
I mean, just a lot of great bodybuilders. Sean Ray.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I almost feel like an imposter a little bit.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Yeah, that will pass. That will pass.
Yeah, I mean, just reading those names, though. I mean, I think last year's winner, Matthew Schmidt, he put up a similar post, before Nationals happened. He's like, I don't even feel like I should be on this list. He won last year, and so it was kind of the same feeling.
Yeah.
And
well, you're at the end of the day, you two guys, you're the next generation. You're the next generation of Nationals winners that go on to hopefully have great pro careers. So, have you thought about have you and Justin spoke about your next step in your career yet?
So the goal is this year, I need to put on about 10, 15 pounds of tissue on my upper body. I mean, because that's obviously everyone's criticism of me is because I'm so unbalanced. I mean, I am. I'm okay saying that. My legs are insane.
They're ridiculous.
But if I can put that tissue on the tissue on my back, and widen it and make those lats come out a little bit more,
yeah,
I think I have a real shot at winning my pro debut.
I think if you can balance what you've got on your lower half with your upper half, that's a definite possibility.
Exactly, and I mean, and I look back pictures 2 years ago. I didn't have a back. I wasn't training it correctly, so already the exponential growth I've made in it, I think it's possible. And I'm linking up with some good training partners here in Denver. We have Martin Fitzwater. He's 23 and he's a freak.
Okay.
He won North Americans this year as a heavyweight. Brett Wilkin.
Yeah.
He's another guy, making some noise. I've been linking up with those guys a little bit, and they're making me work.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, 2029. My God, it's just incredible. It must be so exciting for you. Sort of now, what's next? So what? How long have you been working with Justin Compton for?
A little under 2 years.
2 years.
Probably about a year and 8 months.
So things really took off when you started working with Justin, then.
It did. I mean, we just click. I mean, I'm a worker. I was in the Marine Corps, so it's like if he tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. And, there'd be times on this prep where I would go, I really don't understand what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because I'd have a great week. I'd lose like 3-4 pounds and, start tightening up. And he's like, hey, man, we got to push on the gas. I'd be like, I was already pushing on the gas. I don't know if I can keep doing that.
Yeah. So what? I mean, does he take care of your training, your nutrition, or what elements of your prep?
He does nutrition. He helps me with training a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like keeping that to myself because I kind of listen to my body. Because I do have a few injuries that I kind of work around. I've had an AC joint separation, and I got some knee issues a little bit just from the sheer size of my quads.
Yeah,
I get real bad tendonitis because I have Osgood-Schlatter's.
Okay.
And it's where the overgrowth of the tibia from just like playing sports in high school and stuff.
I've heard of that before. I've heard where it's there's almost like too much muscle. It kind of pulls on the joint, doesn't it?
It pulls on that distal end of the tibia, and it's just making like soft tissue bone.
Yeah.
And so it's just an overgrowth. And at some point, I might have to get it shaved down and taken care of, but I've been managing it. And I honestly, I don't have to do a lot of working sets for quads, so it's kind of nice.
Are the legs genetic, or do you really work them hard?
I used to do 2 leg days a week.
Okay, well, that'll do it.
Just for a long time, because I mean, it was my therapy. I would go to the gym and I would squat for an hour.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
how many sets?
Maybe 20.
20 sets of squats? Are you kidding me?
I mean, that was back before I didn't know anything.
Just going and squat for fun.
Yeah, I mean, just me and my workout partner when I was in the Marine Corps, we'd get off work and we'd go squat. We're just like, let's go squat. And we do it, and yeah, I mean, not all those working sets, but
yeah,
you know.
But when
we do a lot.
Was it the amount of reps or sets or weight that you kind of wanted to push for?
Combination of both. I always liked being in that like 12 to 15 range.
Okay.
Because that's when that lactic acid builds up and you really got to hurt.
Yeah.
But sometimes I would do that with like drop sets or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I'd hit like a max set of like 6, and then strip it, and then do another 20 reps.
Holy shit! I think when I speak to a lot of bodybuilders that have really good body parts, I always ask them about that one memorable workout. That one day they went all out, they went crazy, and like Ronnie can recall the workout. I think it was 8 weeks out for the 2003 Olympia, and he can tell me the sets, the reps of what he did of that one day where just everything, all the stars aligned, and just everything kind of just, and he went crazy. I remember one day I was 19, I did like 12 sets of squats because all the extension machines were all being reupholstered. So I thought, well, we'll just squat, and I'll never forget that day because you're throwing up in the bathroom and stuff, and you're sticking your head in a sink of water and everything, and just to try and bring yourself around. I mean, what do you ever have those kind of memorable workouts where you just think, holy shit, I've just gone crazy here today?
I do. There was one on this prep. It was a leg day actually.
Funny enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was like 7 weeks out, and it's kind of like a peak where you're still getting enough food that you're okay.
Yeah.
But you've done enough cardio at this point. Your endurance is really good.
Yeah. And
so I was kind of in that range, and I mean, it was just a normal workout. I did, I always start with a hamstring movement.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of different. I always do sea leg curls first because it warms my knees up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go straight into hacks.
Okay.
And I worked up to like 7 plates that day aside. Okay. And I did like 13, 14 reps, and I was like, I felt kind of good. I'm going to do another one of those, and I got a second set for like 9. And then I just like strip 2 plates, drop set, strip 2 plates, drop set. And by the time I finished, I thought I was dead. I was like, that's probably enough for today.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need to do much more. So I just did leg press, and then I did like 2 more hamstring movements and called it.
Wow.
But
so
it was just...
you're saying hack squat. Do you, I mean, because when I was going through my teens and my 20s, I was under the belief that you just could not get big legs without squatting, without proper back barbell squatting. You cannot build a good set of legs. What's your opinion on that one?
I haven't squatted in over a year and a half.
Why?
Because I started having those knee issues.
Right.
Really
okay,
bad.
Okay.
I will say it depends on the hack squat, the angle of it.
Yeah.
If it's one of those ones where you're laying down, it's not going to do anything. But I really like the Cybex one because I mean it's pretty steep and it's brutal. I mean, like you're driving into the ground.
Sorry, is that the one like a pit on a pivot, not like a straight line?
No, it's a straight line, but
okay.
It's pretty steep angle.
Yeah.
And I mean, most guys can't put more than 5 plates on there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It'll bury you.
Yeah.
So for me, I've just really focused on getting my feet in the right place and being able to drive my knees forward to get that leverage on my quads.
Yeah.
So really working on ankle mobility and things like that. But with the barbell squats, I've just had an issue with that tendonitis for some reason. Anytime I get over 3 plates and it hurts, I'm just done.
It's funny, isn't it? Because, like, I mean, if most people I know have got knee problems, that things like hack squats are the one exercise they avoid. And they find that, you know, the stabilizing muscles are actually built more with barbell squats and actually can so you're the opposite. You're the other way around.
Well, and I've been doing a ton of adductor and abductor work and things like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, just a lot of mobility. I've been getting 2 massages a week. So, yeah, I mean, I think everyone's just different when it comes to injuries. And for me, I mean, I still love to squat. I love it. But as far as, I mean, I think to put sheer size on your legs, you have to squat.
Yeah.
But I think where I'm at in my career, I don't have to do that. I can build my legs a little bit more and get more detail from doing those hacks and those drop sets and cluster sets and things like that.
So do you think, so for you, to progress your physique, now you're going into your sort of pro debut next year or the year after, is it a matter of just literally keeping the legs the same size or just really throwing the size on the upper body? Because I remember Paul DeMeo and he said, right, well, I don't want to really get my legs any bigger, so I'm not going to squat over 315 ever again. I'm just going to maintain. Or do you just sometimes think, do you know what, I just want to be known for my freaky legs, I'm just going to go for it?
I think right now I'm going to take the legs are going to take it back. They already have. I didn't train them for 4 months this year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At the beginning of the year. So I didn't train them until we got to April because I was having debilitating knee pain. I mean, I couldn't go on a hike with my wife.
Oh, God.
I couldn't do anything. And I thought I wasn't going to be able to prep this year because I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do cardio.
Yeah.
And, you know, Justin was like, hey, man, just don't train your legs. So I'd go do like hamstring, a little bit of hamstring work, some stiff legs, things like that, a little bit of glute work. But I wasn't doing any quad movements.
No quad
for 4 months.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then my knees started getting healthy again. And I was able to do the cardio and I just kind of eased back into it. Yeah. So I think I'm just going to take that approach again next year. And I'm going to hit 2 back days a week because I think that's the biggest issue right now is just back. I'm going to dedicate a whole arm day. I've never done that.
Okay.
And, you know, just keep chest, shoulders. I think my chest needs a little bit, but I think out of everything, my back's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a leg day, but it's going to be not quite as much. What happened?
Nope, still on. Still good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It like popped off my screen.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think that's the key is, just really pounding that back into the ground.
Yeah.
And putting some tissue on there.
Go train with Ronnie. Do some back sessions with Ronnie. Get him to put you through some back sessions.
Yeah, he'd probably kill me.
Yeah. So have you given any thought to any pro show for next year yet, or is it a bit early to tell? We just had a bit of a connection issue there, so we've just called you back. So have you given any thought to your pro debut for next year yet?
It's looking like it's probably gonna be 2022.
Okay.
Just because we took about, you know, 15 months in between the Ronnie Coleman and Nationals, and we calculated it. I put about 20 pounds of tissue on.
20 pounds.
Yeah, so I weighed in at the Ronnie Coleman at 206, and I wasn't anywhere close to the condition that I was at Nationals.
Yeah.
I weighed in at 223 for Nationals.
Right. So it looks like you're definitely going to go open then. There's no chance you're going 212.
No, I'd have to cut a leg off, I think.
Yeah, 223. Yeah, I mean, it would be too. Yeah, you'd have to let you stop training, I suppose, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Actually, a couple of people asked me that after the show, like, "Oh, so you're gonna do a 212?" And I was like, "Yeah." I had to starve to get down to 223.
Okay.
So
because but you won the heavyweights, didn't you?
I did.
So
we were kind of on that fence, 2-3 weeks out, if I was gonna be a super heavy or a heavy.
Yeah.
Because my weight wasn't budging, and I got down to pretty low calories and 2 hours of cardio for a while. So
shit. Yeah,
it was brutal.
And the thing is, I've always said, like, whatever your physique looks its best at, just go. I knew the 2011 British Championships. There was a guy who was called Cecil Crowsdale, and he was 1 kilo. He was 101 kilo. So he was 1 kilo into the super heavyweights, and he ended up winning the overall in the pro card.
Yeah.
You know, because if he'd have come in as a heavyweight, even if he'd been a couple of kilos lighter, he might have looked too flat and maybe not have even won the heavyweight. So, you know, there's that.
Could have been stringy or something. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It just worked out though. I mean, I was having some digestive issues the last couple of weeks too.
Yeah.
Where it was everything or nothing, and
okay.
So that kind of took it out of me a little bit too. But yeah, my weight just wasn't budging, and Justin's like, "Hey man, we just gotta step on the gas." And then I got to Orlando and got to kind of relax a little bit.
Yeah.
I was by myself for a few days, and my wife came out on Friday, and yeah, it just made it really easy. I just got to de-stress a little bit, and everything just worked out. Like the water came off. We didn't do any sodium manipulation. It's perfect.
It's good to see Justin kind of, because there was a couple of years where obviously he had his health issues a couple of years ago. Because I remember seeing him at the Olympia 2016 or 2017, he was 8th place that year. And he was like, and then he kind of just disappeared. And it's nice to see him come back. And he's looking quite big again, isn't he? I saw some pictures and he's looking pretty chunky again. Is there any chance he'll come back or?
I don't know. I think he's done.
Really? He's still so young. He's what? Probably up 30. What is he? 31?
Yeah, I think he's not much older than me.
Yeah, he's still young. He could come back. I mean, there was a guy I thought. Well, I mean, he had for structure, everything, and then he had something. I forget what the problem was. The specific thing that kind of took him out of it. But I thought that was like I thought he was completely out of the industry. So it's nice to see him coming back in, looking beefy again, and he's training people like yourself, prepping people like yourself, and nationals winners. So there's no chance. Do you ever train with Justin?
No, I haven't had the opportunity to. I'd like to this year though. Maybe get down to Jacksonville and stay with him a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Have him really beat me up. So I mean, he had one of the greatest backs. So I mean,
he's a freak.
Learn from him. That'd be good.
He was an absolute. I mean, I remember he was so good, and he was like 27 years old, and he was just such like a cartoon character, like structure. You know, it was so good. I remember the old pictures in MD, the Per Bernal shots, and. So impressive. It's good to see he's transferring his skills now and his knowledge into people like yourself, and people are going to sort of carry the torch and carry on that, keep competing. So, okay, Jonathan, has you got any sponsors or anyone you'd like to thank?
Not yet. So if you want to sponsor me, go for it.
Yeah, come on, get this guy sponsored. Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah. And also, are you going to the Olympia this year?
It's undecided yet. I am going to USA's in 2 weeks to watch a friend compete, so I'll be there in Arizona to watch that.
Hang on, the USA's is in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they had to move it. It's been moved like 4 times this year. So
oh god, wow.
Yeah, so it should be a pretty good show. They moved it to where they had the Rising Phoenix last year championships.
Okay, yeah.
At that resort there, so it should be a nice show.
Excellent. So who's any predictions for the Olympia? Any feelings on who's going to win?
Oh, I think it's Phil and then Brandon behind him, and I don't know, maybe that's a tough one. I think that top 5 could be pretty much anybody, but I think it's going to be Phil and Brandon in the top 2.
What about the 212? Who's winning that?
I'd like to say Derek Lunsford. I think he's a man that's upset and he wants to come in and show people wrong.
Do you think he'll nail it?
I hope he does.
Yeah, I think we all do. We all do.
Yeah, I mean, he has a crazy physique. Yeah. He's a good guy, too.
Yeah,
so.
I think with the 212, it's like you just said about the Open there's probably 5 guys that could literally win it. You've got the defending champion, you've got Kamala Gagner, you've got Sean Clarida, you've got Derek Lunsford, you've got George Peterson. I think there's 4 guys there on any good day could win the Olympia.
Yeah, I mean, seeing George Peterson's pictures, I mean, his back alone, when he hits a back shot, he might win it.
Yeah, I know. So, and he's going to be a lot heavier than he was last year. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. And let's hope your fellow Denver, Colorado. I just want to see Phil back to his best. I just want to see him at his best. Because we want to see the stomach fixed and just see him kind of. Do you think if he wins again, he'll just call it a day, or do you think he'll keep going?
I mean, I hope he doesn't call it a day. I hope he goes for a couple more.
Yeah. Well, we said he wanted 10.
Because if he's on, I mean, there's no reason to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, if he shows up this year and proves everybody, that he can still do it, I mean, he might as well.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I'd be interested to see what Brandon brings. Obviously, the defending champion. It's going to be very, very exciting this year. Jonathan, thank you so much for giving us the time. Really appreciate it. It's always exciting to see new faces and people literally coming out of the blue, because you came out of the blue there, and I was like, who the hell's this guy? You know, I was looking at your legs, and I was thinking, God, when he fills his upper body out, this guy's going to be dangerous. So how tall are you as well?
I'm 5'7".
5'7", yeah, okay. So yeah, you're just too tall for the 212, really. Even if you could make it down a little bit too tall, But yeah, okay then. Okay, thank you so much, and yeah, all the best for 2021 for your training, and I hope balance everything out and really come back into 2022 and, like you said, win your pro debut, hopefully.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Trying to pull a Hunter Labrada, so
yeah.
Just follow his lead. If I can train like him for a year, I'll be okay.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility, that, mate. All right then, Jonathan, thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, guys, it is shout-out time for episode 19 of MD Globe Muscle. Who do we have first? Right, okay, first up is Ahmed Ashkanani. Ahmad, of course, the very, very well-known 212 from the Camel Crew in Oxygen. Team O2 Gyms, they are. Team SciTech Nutrition. 342,000 followers. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Okay. Only following 652. Okay. Right, okay. Now, Ahmad was second place he was second place at the 212 Olympia in 2017. He was second behind, obviously, Flex Lewis. 2018, he dropped to 5th place. 2019, it was 5th place again. So, and to be honest, he's been very quiet this year until I really saw these progress pictures, which I noticed today. So this is what he's looking like now. So is there any improvements? Yeah, he's looking freaky, as you can see. He's not the prettiest of shapes, but he's so thick in the upper body. He's an absolute monster. He always falls down like in the leg separation. It's hard to tell here. The legs look vascular, but separation, they look quite good there. I suppose they're quite separated. Conditions very dry. A lot of thick muscle here. It's difficult to really... does he look any different, I suppose? The legs better. I saw a side shot. It was a side tricep shot. I don't think he's posted it on his page. And he was looking... it was good. He always looks good from the side, though. It's the leg separation from the front he seems to fall down on. So if he can get that, maybe he can climb back up. Because, I mean, this 212 Olympia this year is going to be very, very stacked. You've obviously got Kamal El-Ghaghni, the defending champ. This was Olympia last year. Look at the thickness there. Look at that. Jeez. I mean, it's so much muscle. And I think he must be about 5'3" to be able to even be a 212. Otherwise, he'd be too kind of thick. And we have, obviously, Derek Lunsford, second place last year, the last 2 years running. We have George Peterson moving up from the Classic, who some think he could win. And here we are, the Olympia. Let's have a look. So let's just leave that running. And of course, we have Sean Clarida, third place last year. John Jewett. So he's really gonna have to look good to kind of make it back up into that top 4, top 3. Really. I mean, he's probably the thickest. Along with Angel Calderon, I'd say he's probably the most thickly muscled 212 guy out there. He's an absolute monster. But like I said, that lower body needs to be, and the stomach needs to be nice and tight if he wants to even stay in the top 5, I think. I mean, look at the muscle. Jeez. He's so freaky. Wow. I think that was when he won the Arnold Classic. Yeah, there he is with Arnold. Yeah, that was, I forget what year that was. That wasn't 2017, maybe? It'll say. Okay, there he is. Yeah, he won the Arnold Classic. So the last Arnold Classic was in 2018. That's when Kamal El-Ghaghni won it. And then they stopped having the 212. So, yeah, very thickly muscled guy. Like I said, he's been very, very quiet this year until he posted this progress picture here recently today. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. He always looks amazing in these progress shots. But it all depends upon what he brings to the stage in 3 weeks' time. So, okay, we're going to go to the next, obviously another Camel Crew member, the Rolly Winkler, 1.7 million followers. Holy shit. Okay, Rolly Winkler, the Beast. We had him on Global Muscle about 5 months ago, back in May, I think it was. And he too has been very, very quiet, not really posting much, doing the odd arm selfie. But this is the last thing one of the most recent ones he posted. As you can see, he's got the freakiest triceps in bodybuilding. There's no disputing that. But he's looking a lot smaller than he was, than the point maybe than when I'd seen him in years previous. 116,000 likes. Flex, Sean Roden, you got this. Now, the thing with Rolly, 2018 was an incredible year. He won Prague. He got third at the Olympia, sorry. And then 2019 was kind of a disastrous year for Rolly. He had injuries and food poisoning and everything, and it was kind of like the write-off for the year. He got fifth at Olympia, which is not too bad, obviously, but he didn't look anywhere as good as he had the year before. So really, a lot of people aren't really talking about Rolly as a factor for this year, and that's probably going to fire him up, to be honest. So if he's injury-free and he's been able to train properly and prep properly, then he's obviously always going to be a threat. When you've made top 3 in the Olympia, then you're always going to be a threat. This was taken 2 weeks ago, so this is 5 weeks out. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I'd expect him to be condition-wise for 5 weeks out, just on the leg shots anyway there. But yeah, I just want to see him back to his best. I want to see him like he was at the night show at the 2018 Olympia, or when he won the Prague Pro, because he was absolutely phenomenal there. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, this is before he walks on stage at the Olympia. It all comes down to this moment when I'm seconds away from setting foot on that Olympia stage, only 3.5 weeks until I get to do this all over again. So I just want to see him back to his best. He's so hit and miss, Rolly, but when he's on, my God, he's really the freakiest bodybuilder up there. I think he's freakier than Ramy. When you look at the actual muscle bellies and the size and just the proportions of him, he's okay, there he is. Hack squatting how many plates? That's 6 or 7? 6. Yeah, see, it's hard to tell where he's got tights and baggies on it. I mean, sorry, tights and a hoodie on. A glimpse of yesterday's leg workout 5 weeks out. Yeah, he's giving nothing away, Rolly. That's either a very good sign or a very, very bad sign. But Rolly is one of the hardest trainers in the industry. There's no disputing that. Everyone says, I've asked a few people, I think it was John De La Rosa we had on Globe Muscle, and I said, who's the hardest training guy you've ever trained with? And he said, he said Rolly Winkler and Flex Lewis, of course. But he said Rolly Winkler is just a maniac. He said he was on the way to the gym one day, and he said he had a knee problem, and he said he still went and just smashed legs and lifting like 6-7 plate squats and ridiculous amounts of weight. So yeah, he's been very, very quiet. See, that's a smaller Rolly than I think we're used to seeing. And I know he looks massive there, but that for me is a much smaller version of Rolly. Maybe he's trying to grow into the show this year, but that's a Rolly I'd expect. I've seen a lot bigger in the past, but we never know. All that matters is about how he looks on stage on the day at the Olympia. So I just hope he can get there as well. Hope there's no issues. Okay, next we have Carlin, shout out. Yep. Okay, this is Emily Schubert. You said she's German, Carlin. You said she's German, or are you just making that up?
The last name sounds German.
Oh, Schubert. Okay, well, okay, let's find out more about her. Now, the reason Emily's come up on our radar, Emily Schubert, IFBB Pro Women's Physique, is because she just won a pro show yesterday. This is the one, isn't it? Yeah, because Olivia Bian was 5th. So what show was it? It was the Wings of Strength, wasn't it? Wings of Strength. Okay. Here we go. Where is she? Is that her there? Yeah, she's 5th. There's Bian doing a crazy posing. She's funny, isn't she? Yeah, good condition. Look at the condition of glutes there. Okay, let's find out more about her. Okay, here she is winning the Atlantic Coast 2020 first place. So I'm assuming this is a qualifier for next year's Olympia. So Emily is now qualified for next year's Olympia. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, let's see some more pictures. That's a good shot. Yeah, you've got to have a good radial bicep in. Oh my God, she's got nothing on. Oh, I say. Oh. So let's look at the one on the left. Let's just zoom into that. I can't get it off. Now I've just zoomed in more. Am I allowed to show that?
No.
Okay, I'm just going to get off this quickly. I don't see somebody's bum crack. Just God, put some clothes on, young lady. Really? Okay, let's have a look at the condition. Wow. Okay. We don't know much about her. I'm assuming she's American. Look at that. Is she prepped by Shelby, maybe? Because that's like Shelby Starnes level conditioning, because he just gets all the women he preps into condition. That's a nice picture. There you go. That's a proper diet face. So let's learn more about it. That's a fantastic riddle bicep. Look at the back shots. Let's have a look. Christina Nicole. Those glutes. Last check-in at 4 a.m. before making my way to the gorgeous sunny Fort Lauderdale. Feeling deflated. Okay. No, she's not prepped by. I don't think she's prepped by
Derek Natcher.
Derek Natcher. I don't know this guy.
Pittsburgh.
Okay. I don't know who that is. Okay. Team Loud. Hashtag work the plan. Yeah, she's great. Great conditioning. You've got to have good conditioning in women's physique or you are sunk. So, damn, girl. You look amazing. That's how I envision them to say it. Yeah, look at the condition there. Look at that. So when you male pros can't get your ass in condition on stage, you just need to take a leaf out of some of these female athletes' books, because there's no excuse. If the women can get body fat levels to this low, then so should you too. Lionel Biecki. So got to get yourself ripped, mate. Otherwise, you are literally not fulfilling your potential. It's as simple as that, really. So, okay. Yeah, she looks fantastic. Great. She's got a win now. Let's have a look at this picture. Yeah, what a lineup. God, look at the quality there. I assume that's her in the middle. Yeah. Where's Bian? Should Bian there? Yeah, Bian's on the left. Yeah, because Bian's not in top condition now. That's why she got 5th. So, yeah, look at the condition. Look at all of them got striated glutes. You're not supposed to have striated glutes in women's physique, but it seems to be if you don't have striated glutes, you do not win. It's as simple as that. So they say they don't want it, but, well, yeah, they obviously do. Okay, Emily Schubert, give that lady a follow. Qualify for the 2021 Olympia. Congratulations, Emily. Look fantastic on your win at the Atlantic City Pro. Okay, next one. Another lady. Another one of our... she's been on Globe Muscle once or twice? Twice. Yeah, twice. Yeah, she's been on twice. Yeah, Irene Anderson, yeah. She's from... Where's she from? Holland, isn't it? Sweden, that's of course. Yeah, as you can see, she's prepping for the Miss Olympia. We love Irene. Look at that. I mean, see what I mean about conditioning? Guys, this is a woman in a... She's in her mid-50s, isn't she? She's mid-50s. So you can't use age or what sex you are as an excuse, because, it's very, very difficult for women to get condition that. Anyone, especially women, to get that level of conditioning. So, yeah, we love Irene. She's lovely. She's a sweetheart. So, yeah, she's competing in the Miss Olympia. And let's get that off. Hang on. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is the most recent post. So look at that. Look at this thin. Look how thin her skin is. Look at that. Wow. Go on, Irene. Amazing. So, oh yeah, and also watch her documentary, Too Big for the World. That was I premiered at the Olympia, I believe. Was it last year? I think it was. It premiered there. It was filmed a couple of years ago. Proper documentary, based obviously upon her as a female bodybuilder. Her featured. So I think she's with Gasp now as well. Hashtag Gasp. So yeah, we love Irene. We love you. Yeah, one of our favorites. TooBigForTheWorld.com. So go to that website, check out the documentary, which was it was a really, really well produced, well put together documentary. So check that out. Okay, and our final shout out is another guy who's been on MD Globe Muscle, is Carlos de Oliveira, 4-time IFBB Pro Champ, top 6 Olympia. I mean, he's just won a contest. I think this is the one in Brazil. Yeah, it's everything's written in Portuguese, isn't it? Yeah, look at his look. I mean, that to me is perfect men's physique. He's a men's physique pro. Obviously, he's won 4 shows now. Great guy, great look, great midsection. He's just everything the category really, requires, really, in my view anyway. I mean, look at this guy. This is exactly what they want from men's physique. You know, he's not so big that he looks like a bodybuilder in board shorts. He's got a great physique. Great guy as well. We've had him on a couple of times. We really support this guy. He's won a pro show, which again would have been a pro show qualifier, Olympia qualifier for next year's Olympia, if I believe that's right. So look at that. Yeah, look at that. Wonderful shape. See, yeah, that is really what you really want from men's physique. I think that's kind of what they embody as the criteria, you know. So yeah, look at these shots here. Wow, look at that. That's a good shot. Look at that midsection. Look at those intercostals. Yeah, really impressive. So he's just won his 4th pro contest in Brazil. I'm assuming he's going to be in the Olympia this year. He looked fantastic last year at the Olympia. I thought he could have won it. So yeah. So just want to give a little update there on Carlos. Big congratulations there. Qualified for this year's Olympia and next year's Olympia. Yeah, so I just want to wish him all the very best and hope to see him doing very, very well in that first call out at the Mr. Olympia in 3 weeks' time. So, okay, that is it for episode 19 of MD Globe Muscle. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Next episode is our season finale for season 3. And we are going to do something a little bit different and a little bit different. So, yeah. So, what? It's special. Very special. Yes, very special. And then we'll take a 1 week break and we'll be back with season 4. And yeah, then we'll be headed into our final 20 episodes of 100 episodes. Because this is number 79. We started in end of 2018. And yeah, here we are 79 episodes later. So well on our way to 100. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting. And we'll see you next week for MD Globe Muscle. And we are out.